Got a scene from like 300. Yeah, all those guys.
You spray paint some abs.
Yeah.
You're great.
Oh, yeah, like you guys zooming in.
We're zooming in this one. Maybe I should sit over there so I could be seen.
Yeah. Oh, you want to sit here actually?
No, I'll sit over here.
You sure?
I can be seen here too.
Okay.
And then the microphone's here, so speak up.
Oh.
Yo, you're really thick.
Look at this shave, man.
It's a sweatshirt. I did lose more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say fit though. Little bit like a raisin, you know, when you lose weight that way. Yeah, just slender.
Yeah.
Same exact look, just smaller. Which is a bummer. Yeah, that's
Are you guys still walking?
yeah,
Yeah.
we go like 3. It's good for us. All right, well, we've got our work cut out for us. This morning we got a little,
Yeah.
we got a cripple guy.
Yeah.
Take him to the ceiling and that's. Oh, yeah. You want to go through
I'm saying thank you though.
some grapes?
I appreciate it. I'm all right though. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. All right, I just saw, Keith's text, he's not gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's working early.
Braden or?
Huh?
Did Braden say?
Braden, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it last week. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's. in the-
Yeah, he was at the parade last night.
Yeah, it's great last night. This is not what I thought, like.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun, that parade was cool.
Hi, are you a Broncos fan? 18.
Yes,
Oh man,
yeah.
you're right below it. So cringe, man. so bad right now.
We had so much hope for the Broncos.
That's like all the sports shows are talking about.
Yeah,
Like, dog and hate.
yeah, they are.
I think the coach got
They say-
fired, right?
No, Mahomes, on the other hand, is having a great season. Phenomenal.
He's crazy. You know he's a Christian? I saw like a testimony of him. He said he like goes out and prays over the field.
That's my team now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He just got like a big cross tattoo on his leg and stuff. Chiefs.
What kind of Christian are you? Like Justin Bieber kind of Christian?
No, I mean, I think he, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it, like, he doesn't, like, I saw him on a podcast with like Travis Kelce and Kelsey's brother, and they're like cussing, he doesn't cuss, and he like tries to like be a good testimony. He's a big time family guy, so I think he represents pretty well.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good, good.
but it's hard being a celebrity.
How's Keys?
She's good.
All right.
It's really good. Growing so fast. It's
Growing
crazy.
fast, yeah.
God.
Well, look at the parents.
But it's wild, like with Martin, probably with the first two, I felt like we were just kind of like in such chaos, like figuring it out. Where this one we're able to like
Yeah.
actually pause and
Yes.
watch it happen. and
Dude,
it
that's
seems like it's
exactly
like,
it, man.
Yeah.
A little bit more enjoying the third one.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, I think got some big news, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
to finally adopt also.
Yeah. All right.
It took like a year,
Wow.
but yeah,
Congratulations, Dan.
thank you.
That's so
We got all kinds of big news in this group.
Yeah,
I was with, Mark Cavacat last night. Wow, his brother Mark. Yeah, brother Mark, and he is Lieutenant Colonel.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa, congrats.
yeah, I've been asking him, let it go, Mark,
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
the Colonel. And, yeah, he told me, hey, I made it. I said, yeah, I think you made it to the department. No, I made it, Lieutenant Colonel. And then, so Caleb, he just big staff sergeant.
wow.
He's
Moving up.
Yeah, he just graduated from Airman Leadership School that past week on Thursday. Yeah, so God promoting us. Well, let's not prolong this any longer. That's pretty, you know.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Not that testimony, but the medicine baby.
Oh, yeah. Corinne is a teacher at Packard. She was in our Holy Spirit class. And she's my teacher for this documentary making class I'm in right now, which is when this happened. So she prayed over it, and it's funny because it hurt so bad. It was like excruciating. I was like, just keep praying. And so I had her pray for it like 3 times, which isn't like me to like ask something of someone. And so it was really uncomfortable for me, but I just knew I needed it. And on the 3rd time when she prayed, it was literally like this big, and it went down a lot. And the pain subsided. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, like physically like saw the swelling go down. And then I was able to finish the documentary that we were doing. I was able to drive home, and then it wasn't lasting. I think that what I think could have happened, I think it could have potentially been broken too. And I think that maybe she could have healed the break and put it out. That's what I think maybe could have potentially happened, or it was just like some pain relief for the time. I'm not really sure what was going on internally, but
Yeah, sure.
it hurts a lot.
You have x-rays and everything?
Yeah, I got x-rays yesterday, yeah.
What do they say?
They said not broke, but,
Okay.
and then I got some
The tendon.
other imagery, and yeah,
Muscles.
yeah.
It's not a lot of pain right now.
No, it is just because anytime I don't have it like elevated above my heart, like it just like,
Starts growing.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay, well, Lord, we just come before you this morning, and look for our brother friend, and we just speak to his muscles, the tendons right now in Jesus' name. We command them to heal, faster than expected, even right now, Lord. And thank you that, by your finished work on the cross, he is healed. And so we are not, contending for something he does not already have, but rather something given to him, every spiritual blessing, at his conversion. And it is that for which we are contending. And so, Lord, thank you that, you are the same today, yesterday, today, and forever. And so we pray that more pain to subside. We pray for the defibrillator, muscles, yeah, muscles to be healed. And we just speak the healing that already is there to be manifest in Jesus' name.
I just want to thank you for Brandon, Father God, just the tremendous encouragement and just source of hope that he's been for so many people, Lord. And so right now in this moment, we lift him up, Father God, because he's always elevating and lifting others. This morning we get to come around him and prayerfully be a source of encouragement for him this morning. Lord, I pray for his spirits, Father God, that he would just continue to encourage him in the midst of this, Lord. I know that he's going to find the gem and the truth and the encouragement in all of this, and be able to turn around whatever the enemy meant for evil. You'll be able to turn around for good in him, and this will be just a source of hope and encouragement again for so many people, even in the midst of this situation. But Lord, we pray for just supernatural healing, Father God, to his leg, his ligaments, any tendons, Father God, that have been compromised. Lord Jesus, we just pray for perfect alignment. Lord, we pray for everything to come into alignment to their design and their function, Lord Jesus. And we just thank you, Lord, that you are a God who heals, and that it is, Lord, in your will to see us whole. In Jesus' name.
Lord, we just bind whatever caused them to fall in the first place. Whatever was upsetting with equilibrium, we bind that, Lord. We're just saying, no, we prohibit it from happening. And we cast that out.
Jesus, and I just come out every tendon and ligaments, healed, just come out all pain, inflammations will be, and just for new tendons or new muscle tissue fibers. Command everything in the leg and the ankle area to just completely be restored right now in the name of Jesus.
Yes. Thank you, Lord, for Son, this will. Was settled. Yes. Blessing. He gave us the anointing. We use the Holy Spirit, not the Holy Spirit. Right now, that power to get work through us, we're going to be conduits. We release the wheel so that you can take over. You can work through our touch, work through our words, work through our hands. And come alongside
Acting like that anything that was attacking you. Ran, that had been covered by the blood of Jesus and that to the top.
Yes.
At the foot of Jesus, you dealt with and never to return. That your healing powers go not just through his ankle, but through his entire body. That whatever semi-paralyzed my brother be loose and remind it and pass it out. Medical returns. Father, from our deepest hearts and souls, you instruct us. Before anything in purity, that our word was a sword. To fight with power. And to heal. To reattach. To decrease any inflammation. You know that you have already healed. And we have to continue to heal. Quicker than what science can explain, quicker than any other explanation can do. Yes. And you will be explained to you all the time. The joy from Jesus' name. We come together with him. And we give you all the glory, Father, for the gifts. Another testimony, we will bring, we give and share, we tell the world the power of the Father God. Let us continue to build our faith, build our bond, and to our longing.
Amen, amen. You feel anything?
It's hard to say, you know,
Yeah.
like I think I definitely had some pain relief, like 100%. And I think Kai definitely has a gift that I could just like feel where his thumb was. He was like picking perfect spots out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't, like obviously I'm not gonna try and walk around or anything, but
Yeah,
it
No,
definitely,
take your boot off and run.
You were the second.
yeah, it definitely was like a lot of pain relief, so I'm really appreciate it.
Wow,
Yeah,
good, all right.
Yeah.
You're not just saying that.
no, I'm not just saying, I will do that. Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we're not, man.
So you were filming something?
Yeah, we were shooting my testimony for Pastor M, and I was like sitting on this stool, and we were at Kakako Beach Park, and there's like a bill.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
shoot. And the stool just tipped back.
No, I went to stand up and my legs just went numb, man. It was freaking crazy.
Whoa.
My legs were numb and I couldn't catch myself, and I just started falling down the hill.
Was it just from sitting so long?
I don't know. I mean, I tried to like make sense of it physically, but it's just like it was weird.
I
It was,
did
like,
real, yeah.
Flyé, like your root.
Oh, man.
I'm
I'm all right, thank you. I'm okay. Thank
Okay.
you. That's good stuff for you.
Yeah, it's good, I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah, super weird.
That is weird. Yeah, you know, one of the things that, we'll read in Matthew is, Jesus granted church the power to bind and loose. And, so whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And, the reference to that in the Old Testament is, the ephod. The ephod, which is the priest, the priestly thing, right? And it says that the stones are bound to this. And, so there's this like sense that, you have a discernment about, because the ephod is about like discernment, right? So it goes certain way to yes, and it goes another way to no. It's like, hey, Lord, you want us to go and attack the Amalekites and the world in a certain way? Oh, okay, yeah, thumbs up. And I think that the 12 apostles were written on the stones. But anyway. So it's tied to that level of like prayer and service. And then Jesus says, you know, you're a high priest, right? So you are priests. And so you have a kind of ephod, right? And then you can discern when something is not supposed to happen.
Wow.
That's cool. And that's a kingdom authority.
Yeah.
I say, no, that's not gonna happen, you know. And there's loads of testimony people who say, you know, no, you're not gonna get cancer, you're not gonna, that's not gonna happen. And then they, you know, they're like, That's called binding. Binding is forbidding something from occurring. Which is probably demonic.
Yeah,
And then loosing is releasing something, like releasing prosperity or releasing giving or something like that. But yeah, that'd be like another crazy journey to go on. It's probably loosing. Ah. No worries. Very hallelujah, my friend. That was a lot of fun. It was, I don't know.
where are you guys talking about? What parade? Where you guys?
Oh, last night was the Wahoo
Oh, yeah.
City Parade of California, so, yeah. My first, actually, no. We did it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dylan.
What's up, man?
Good morning.
Oh,
No,
dude.
that's crazy, man.
Tell these guys you're joking, that's it's funny.
Oh,
What did the wise man say?
you tell, I can't even remember.
What did the wise man say when they gave, Jesus glory, right? I said, he said, wait, there's myrrh.
He's not even a dad yet. He's telling dad jokes.
Walking on heard that too.
Yeah.
Oh, he said it on the big
He said
set.
it, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's your parents are, we're just praying, healing them together.
Oh, yeah.
100% healing.
They can make it, right?
Yeah.
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 Thanks for appreciating it.
Yeah. I mean, probably, it's
No pain. Great, the doing here.
no pain in Jesus' name. It's your life, it's. Watches over it, Lord, and Lord, your presence and your power. Feels like it's part of his resident. Father, we are able and just down the Holy Spirit here. Right now, in Jesus' name. Father, we ask that you just feel it. You can use it, Lord, as we continue to sit here, Father, as we continue to walk, Lord. And we believe by faith that it is. 100%
That's cool. They are healing community.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Being able to just. I think I don't ever converse at church in a sense where like we talk about those types of things. And it's like, how's your week? Or how's your day? Or
Yeah.
you know, it's never like what people are going through really.
Yeah.
You know, it's more thought.
Yeah.
We get opportunities to minister like that. You
There's myrrh.
know.
Whatever you think God's doing, there's myrrh.
What's it feel like right now, Bernie?
Like, I don't know, like if I had to like explain it, I'd say it kind of feels like it's like radiating in a way, like. Like maybe, maybe there's something going on, it's like definitely not hurting as much.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. You believe?
I don't know, I'm just sensing like things are actually meshing
That'd be
right now.
sweet. I mean, I definitely
Like,
believe it could, I mean,
yeah.
I can't like,
Like I see a twine rope,
yeah, that'd be
What do you
awesome.
see?
a twine rope,
Like a ligament,
like ligaments, yeah.
Mhm.
Like twining.
twining,
Like, sweet.
Yes.
coming back together, I suppose, you're going
Yeah.
that
That was cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, we watch a lot of movies, so we can imagine this. Like, visualize it, right?
Touch some marble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you say you project?
Dude, I fell, man, it was really dumb.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just, we were shooting my testimony from that school and I was in that school and I went to stand up and my like legs just like gave out. I just started falling down the hill. It was really weird.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's odd. Yeah,
oh, man.
it almost sounds like Kai.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Where he
Yeah.
gets up off the,
yeah.
that was weird. The weirdest part is too, I was like, I've been like watching like
You like
testimonies about people like casting demons out and stuff a lot. And I was watching like YouTube while I was literally waiting for my teacher to show up. So I'm sitting in the parking lot and watching. And the last video I saw before I went up there was this comedian who was like telling a joke and she was kind of like blaspheming the Holy Spirit and she just tapped out. And that was the last video I saw before I went. Yeah,
It's Kathy Griffin.
yeah.
Was it Kathy Griffin? I thought it was Kathy Griffin. She was like poking, making fun of her.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then she like
so,
knocked out.
yeah, she like fractured her skull. Wow. And so that was like the last video I watched. So that's why I'm like thinking that there's like, so I was telling Kyle like here, there's like so many layers to it that
Yeah.
just make it where
Yeah.
it was like definitely spiritual. It was real weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see
You
that?
didn't tell me that part.
I think it just came out recently. There was a progressive Christian pastor.
Uh-oh.
And then all the thunder just started going.
Lightning.
Ooh, no.
Turn off the whole, yeah,
Oh.
turn off the whole building for like 3 seconds. And then he went on to say, that's not God's sign of judgment. Are you sure? Like, don't say that.
Ask Comedian what she thinks.
Uh,
Cracks her stomach in from
She
mine.
was still making jokes about it afterward.
She's still joking.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't get it.
They don't stop.
Well, you read the book of Revelation and God will not be mocked.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's a lot of mockery going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of mockery going on right now.
I was watching so many like rap artists and hip hop artists are like having images of them like hanging on crosses and
Oh.
wearing like crowns of thorn, like
Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, like $3 million crown of thorn, baby.
Have you heard about that? Huh?
No, I don't know what that is.
I don't even know if you want to watch it.
Who's Kendrick Lamar?
He's a rapper and
He's probably like they would say like
The best
rapper
rapper.
alive right now.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, he did like some.
Better than Snoop Dogg?
Lyrically, yeah.
He did a concert and then he was saying something about women's rights, and I believe it was about abortion. And he wore a crown of thorns as if he was Jesus. And then blood just started coming down his sleeve as he was rapping.
Ooh,
It was gross. Yeah.
intense. Oh, he just had.
Is that the same guy who, like,
I guess
people were like getting trampled at one of his?
No, that was Travis Scott.
Oh,
That's
okay.
super crazy too.
That was-
That rabbit hole. Oh my god.
Intense.
Snaps. And like,
Yeah,
Mm.
that was nuts.
I'll show
yeah, it's hard, dude.
Dude, some of the people afterward that were like went on live and stuff were just like, dude, it felt like
Hmm.
The whole
hell.
thing was like set up satanically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything, yeah. They had music that were playing low vibrations during the sets. They're like usually when one rapper goes and then in between sets, for the next rapper, they have like DJs playing sets. But in between, they just had these low vibrating boom, 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 boom. And all the people at the concert were like, what is this? So weird. And people were passing out, feeling sick. But they felt like he was releasing witchcraft or opening like realms of demons.
Dude, he was like humming, bro. He like got up on this like mount and was just like humming at the crowd. And it's so weird. And they're what's crazy is they were calling it a conspiracy theory. Anybody that was talking about it being demonic, and they're saying it was QAnon. So then they're not allowing people to talk about it on TikTok and stuff. They were
Wow.
saying that it was demonic.
Mm.
And so a lot of the videos got taken down, but there's like literally these videos of they ripped one of the guys that died, they ripped, he was wearing a cross and they ripped his cross off and people were like dancing around it on the ground.
God.
It was crazy.
It was weird too, because there was like a sea of people. I don't know how many people, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people. Usually at concerts, it's super loud, people are cheering. And he's like, here's the stage and the people are right here. And nobody was cheering, it was so quiet, everybody was being suffocated because everybody was packed in. And he just kept going, people were dying, getting lifted up, and he just kept letting it go. Yeah, it was crazy.
People
People
die.
were
Yeah.
screaming to
Ten
him, like
people
saying,
died.
Travis, do something, like say something, like people are dying, and he just like kept like humming and stuff. It was so weird.
One kid got sucked to the bottom and he said, they put him on the news. He goes, I was dead. He goes, I was gonna die. He goes, at that moment, I cried out to Jesus and then he gave his life to Jesus right then. He felt somebody grab him and pull him up. But that's what they said. The environment was literally, it felt like hell, suffocation. You couldn't breathe.
Wow. When?
But I felt like he created that atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was symbolically demonic.
I think it was
Tunnel of
weird.
realms. Yeah.
He's told, he's
you're-
he's been sued.
He's a new, like,
Told people to like jump off of balconies.
rapper.
Yeah, how does he
He told,
still,
like, tell them to jump.
Still,
And so, yeah,
That's
and people still love him. He's married to one of the
Travis Scott.
Kardashians or has babies with one of the
Travis
Kardashians.
Scott.
That's like a scene straight out of like Milton or Broadcast or something. You know, they're in the crowds like. Fifty people.
Yeah. Well, the image he uses too for all his album covers is his face with a mouth and people walking into it, like that demonic imagery that
Yeah.
they use of
Okay.
of Satan and
Wow.
nothing.
No, I didn't know that.
You know,
What's his name?
Travis Scott.
That was hot, wow.
Mm.
Yeah, he had like controversy even before that, right? Because of like something like an album cover or like a picture of him or something with like.
Literally all of
it.
it stuff is imagery.
Oh, yeah.
Literally all of it. One album cover is people walking into his mouth, one is him sitting on a crown with wings and it's all red and black.
Yeah.
He had another one with girls like in a bed with a snake and yeah, it's like all of it is.
Dark.
Like a staple.
Yeah, very Christmassy.
How do you
Yeah.
feel?
I feel good, yeah, thank you,
You
yeah.
sound good. Yeah, you sound better.
Yeah.
Your face
My
looks
voice is
different.
really good, strong,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like your eyes are moving and scrunching together sometimes. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, I see the wrinkles.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice here, your voice is like completely back to normal.
Different,
I
yeah.
think so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's back, yeah.
That's awesome.
Are they doing like massage therapy?
No, just let the Lord heal me over time. My meditation, sitting in that chair in your house, is just, oh, I should show you that. This book right here. That's why I was praying the way that I was praying for, because I was studying this. So you've already got it,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Andrew
So,
Woolman.
we did a
Andrew
series
Woolman, yeah,
in Ephesians,
that's cool.
so it's funny,
Yeah, what's the donation?
God chasing his own tail.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and he's saying, that's what Christians do. Like we're chasing healing, but in reality, in Ephesians 1, it says,
You've already got it.
he's already given you every spiritual blessing. So everything, your healing, my healing, is already deposited into your spirit. So this is like a next level of like understanding how the kingdom works, because typically like we will say something like, hey, God knows what you need before you ask it. So, it almost is like kind of like, yeah, you just have to like trust him and so forth. But what he's saying, what he's reflecting on, Andrew Womack, that's the guy
Mhm, yeah,
from Ephesians, is that he not only anticipates like what it is that you need, right? But he's already put it within you. He's already put it in you. All of it is there. It's in the spirit. And so then the journey is the way he puts it is how to learn to draw it out. It's like, again, it's more like working out, right? Which is cool because it's very similar to our salvation. Yeah, and that's the conversation I wanted us to have this morning, actually. Like, I wanted us to, since it's Christmas time, right? To reflect on why Jesus came and what he came to do. And we listen to a lot of Tim Mackey, which is who do this, and we're also doing the series on a new humanity, right? And so this would be a really interesting conversation because typically we say the joys of the world because he's taken our sins away, right? Which of course is like huge all by itself. I mean, not to diminish that in any way. But there's so much more than a freedom from hell. And so Tim was talking about how the Christmas story was really, he said there's a lot of things, if you tell the full story, you would not make it into your little kid's magic. Yeah, because there was like the slaughter of babies and all this kind of stuff. And it reflects on like the story as seen from Mary's point of view, right? So she's a teenager. Number one, she finds out she's pregnant, which is like, oh my God, now what, right? And then her husband is planning to divorce her now because she's tainted, right? And then he has a dream and says, no, don't lose her, keep her, right? And so that's a crazy thing all by itself. Like Joseph is told to stay married to her and help her. And I mean, it's similar to the book, that book that when you're having a terrible, horrible, not good, very bad day, Yeah, that's what Mary's going through.
Mhm.
She's having a terrible, horrible, not good, very, very bad day. She finds out she's pregnant. And then she hears the news that Herod wants to kill her baby. And he's killing all the babies. So this is a very terrifying story for her. It's a horror story.
Mhm.
So Christmas is actually a horror story.
Mhm.
And then so the angel tells them to go flee to Egypt. What was interesting about this, I thought this was really cool, is that there's so many parallels between that and another story where we hear about the children being slaughtered and a fleeing, not to, but out of Egypt, right?
Mhm.
And so, ironically, you look at this like terrible, horrible, very bad day, and you see hope. But wait a minute, this is exactly what happened to Moses, and we see what happened to Moses. There's actually a new beginning, right? For the people of Israel. And this is exactly the purpose of the Christmas story.
Mhm.
Is to basically reboot mankind.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So there's a reboot that happened in our conversion. Where, as we've been saying in our series, you become a new breed of humanity. This you're a new breed. What does that mean exactly? What? So, as I was saying earlier, there's a different spirit within us now, where we contain, at least in seed form, the kingdom of God, and we're being told through the Great Commission and by healing, right? To release it, right? So that's cool because I was like in the bread last night too. And see all the people like, lined up on the streets. I don't know how you guys felt, but I felt like you know, because we had a trolley, the white people trolley, and it was like jamming worship music,
Yeah.
and people were going, yeah, you know, Jesus, you know, like, and there's such a tremendous openness, and I felt like, yeah, I can see why you put us here, Lord, in Wahila, because I think there can be a great awakening in
Yeah.
Wahila.
I agree.
Did you feel that?
I did.
Totally.
I felt like, wow, these people are so open.
Yeah.
They're massive people
Yeah.
out the streets.
Seasoned people.
I think what I love about it too is it helps that our church is like smack dab in the middle of
Yeah,
Wahilo.
exactly. Yeah,
Right
right on the
Pico.
avenue.
I mean, we were literally a block away from where everybody was
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah,
You know, so
there's a big, massive crowd right around there. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it was really cool to see that. And people were open, you know, give me the shocker sign. I'm like, hey, Merry Christmas. You know, they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
pointing at me, like pointing me, like worshiping the Lord, right? We had worship like blast on it.
Yeah.
Ever wonder-
One of those like low riders with the music playing. And people in the trolley, like people are marching, you guys have a banner. That was really cool.
Super cool.
And I was like struck by the tremendous openness of the community.
Yeah.
To church. It's not like, oh, it's a church thing, like, put their head down, like, you know. So we'll see what Little Money does today.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not compare.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Wahio was like super open. I mean, it was like, Lord, revival can come here. I can see what
Yeah.
What do you guys think creates that atmosphere, like their posture, why would it be different than other places? It's like a
I
need.
don't know.
I think it's
I think that's the word right
What
there.
I was thinking.
It was exactly need. And I think, you know, I can't tell you, I was talking to Darcy and she said that so many people asked for candy.
Yeah.
And
They
then
want
it's
our
like,
flyers, they want.
and it's good. They want to take things. So there's an openness to
Yeah.
just wanting to know.
Rather than being comfortable.
I know you need something, but let me give you what you actually need, you know?
And I thought to myself, man. Like I see some people in wheelchairs and stuff, they get healed,
Yeah.
right? When their healing comes. You will not have room in the church.
Yeah.
People are just gonna jam that building.
I
They'll
know.
be pouring out on the streets.
That's what I thought, as all the flyers were going out.
Yeah.
well, we might not have enough room.
I thought that same thing, I was like,
Yeah,
well,
Hundreds of flyers
Yeah.
going
Wow.
out.
if 10% of these people
Yeah.
come, we don't have room.
We will not have room.
Yeah, we don't have.
wow, that's
seating
crazy.
capacity now, Yeah,
Darn, I was on quiet.
That's so crazy.
But I
Darcy
always
said-
say like,
it was great.
there's a reason why our building is next to the
Mm.
hospital.
Mm,
Right.
Wow.
Oh, come
The
on, yeah,
biggest places that needs to be healed.
yeah.
There's a reason why we are the
Wow.
building next to that
Mm.
hospital.
Wow.
You ever think about that?
That's,
In fact, they own the building.
They own
This is their building.
We are an extension of the hospital.
mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So it
That's what
helps.
was cool about the Kingdom Living Healing Night that I went to, they were saying like hospitals should be calling up Christians.
Whoa,
Like,
wow.
Being like, yo, we have there's nothing we can do for this guy, like, wow, they would have seen it so many times.
You know what I thought now? I thought that was police
Yeah.
Hmm.
for these,
Like,
cold
mentally,
cases.
yeah.
Look, we can't find the culprit, but, person Franklin spreader. He's hiding behind a dumpster.
Right?
On,
Happened to
Word of
the
knowledge
prophetic-
detectives.
Yeah,
what a laws effective, well, that.
prophetic anointing.
Drove Buick?
Word of knowledge.
You know,
Hmm.
when you're talking about why do you think there's openness and stuff? It's interesting that Jesus begins his ministry in complete obscurity.
Right,
Like he goes to the
Yeah.
most, I mean, he goes where you wouldn't expect him to go.
Right.
He doesn't go to the metropolitan like Jerusalem,
Right.
you know?
And not right away. He starts in Galilee.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, starts in
Right.
Galilee.
well, that's what's cool about where you guys are at. It's not
Dude,
like,
grassroots.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
bad.
like
Like,
Galilee.
a lot of the churches like that would be moving here, are looking for like the sexy areas, like
Yeah.
East Side or Honolulu or whatever.
Yeah,
The new
there's
community.
no big church ever wanting to move to Wyoming,
Yeah,
right?
I was so surprised when I saw the building for the first time, your guys,
Yeah,
Mm.
like, part of me was like, well, and then part of me was like, oh, this is dope. Right next to the gas station and.
Oh, yeah.
we got a little poke on the gas
Yeah.
station,
We're
There's
gonna,
like a homeless.
we're
guy,
gonna buy
like,
the block though. We're gonna take over the whole block.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Payne Street revival.
Down.
That's I feel like that's a place a revival will start though. It's just
Yeah, dude.
the people there are, it's lower income, more
Mhm.
drugs,
Yeah.
more brokenness,
Yeah.
more addictions.
Yeah.
That's a place that creates an environment.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
need, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That needed. Yeah.
And God's bringing like human services kind of people to church. There's a bunch of them
Yeah.
coming.
Wow.
Cool, like, it's like, wow, all these people are here, God's
Yeah.
bringing the right people.
we need healing in this building.
Right.
So I feel like that parade was for us last night.
Would we happen to know how many flyers are printed out?
I don't know, Pastor Lori doesn't know, but a lot.
I'll ask her.
Well, it was thousands, right?
Were we out by the end of the parade?
Yeah, we were
I
out,
don't, we were out.
we were out.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember your mom was coming up to the front and said, "Need more flyers." I'm sorry, but they're not.
wow.
We must have passed out 1,000 flyers yesterday. Yeah, man. Can you imagine? It's
Standing room only.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the kingdom like actually burst forth, right?
What's crazy is that there are so many churches in Waniwa,
It's for
Was
the
it really?
Yeah,
Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah, it is.
No joke, California has the Guinness Book of Record for churches on one
Really?
street.
Shortest,
Yeah.
shortest.
Wow. That's like how many?
100.
Really? Like it's all different.
What it feels like.
Yeah,
It feels like,
just drop California and do some church.
Church.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't
whether it be
even noticed
Lutheran,
any church-
Catholic, Baptist.
I haven't even noticed any churches driving.
There's a Catholic one. Nazarene.
Every denomination is
Yeah.
on that stretch.
Wow.
Yeah.
On California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
say maybe 30,
Wow.
I wanna guess about
I,
30,
yeah,
cause you can keep going up higher and.
but I don't know if any of them are like really
Big.
thriving,
Yeah.
Oh,
in
that's
a
okay.
sense of like,
That's why I love the journey that we're on,
yeah.
because we are trying to really contend for the full manifestation of the kingdom.
Mhm.
That is within us. And, man, that place could just blow right up us.
Yeah, but we need every church to be built to overflowing. You saw how many people were there. There's no one church that could contain all of them.
Right.
That is so cool. That we say, "Wow, go out." I think good.
Where all the churches become one church.
Yeah, all the churches.
No, SCN's there. I mean, if we all got unified, that it would be. What was it? Oh, so I had this vision, right? It's not, I'm not saying it's from the Lord or anything, but it was just like an idea, right? So when you go to Laie, what do you think? It's a what?
Mormon town.
Mormon town, right? Like shops closed on Sunday. There's the temple. Almost everyone there, the population is like almost all Mormon, probably. You know, when you say Laie, you say, "Oh, that's a Mormon town." What if you came into Wahoo and said, "Oh, that's a Christian town"?
Yeah.
Like everyone there's Christian.
Right.
There's churches everywhere. They all the shops closed on Sunday. Wahoo is a Christian town. You know.
What's sweet, I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of got it started with like Surf the Nation, with the coffee shop being, you know, that's what their vision was to clean up that strip and everything.
Yeah.
You know who I saw for at the parade? For my trolley? Samuel and his wife.
Garner.
Garner.
What?
Mhm.
Was he?
Yeah, he's like standing there on the street corner.
No way.
Yeah, I thought it was in Brazil.
I think he's going, but yeah.
I was going. But I was saying, hey, Samuel, he goes, man of God. You know,
Do they live? Do they? Are they from Wahoo?
I guess. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I could hear his voice above.
Oh yeah.
Above the music,
Yeah.
which was super pumped up loud.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great treat. Let the
Yeah.
kingdom come forth and watch. You will
Yeah.
not have room.
Just being in the middle of that sea of people, man, I was just like, man, it's like
Yeah.
he's so
Yeah,
awesome.
there's definitely a lot of that, you know, I mean, I know we all been talking about the unity talk
Mhm.
going around the island. I've been following, Mark Sinton's church.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
This past week, they had a 7-day Adventist preacher that they shared the building with preach
Yeah.
for Sunday.
Wow,
And he's bringing a whole revival to like 7-day Adventists, like kind of like
awesome.
trying to help them understand they're still in community with first dayers and everything. And so like, yeah, so it's just crazy to see that the island is just
Yeah.
heading in that direction of just like.
Let's go, God, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, on Thursday, I got and I met this doctor. And he goes to oh, I know what I mean. I was wearing my shirt, my Hebrew shirt, Dom Tehul,
Mm.
and he goes, "What does your shirt say?" I said, "Oh, I don't know if you appreciate this because you're a doctor, but it's Dom Tehul, which means pure blood. These ladies wear this as a protest against the vaccination." Pure blood, yeah,
He didn't like that.
yeah. And he said, "Oh, no, I go to international." "What, International Baptist?" He goes, yeah, he's a Christian. Well, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not back. Yeah, and
Look at your fake backstory.
Yeah. He's still practicing.
I don't know how it's been. But he's like on fire. He's the first doctor who ever prayed for me.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
He said, "Well, let me pray for you." You know, and he's
And you
like,
just happened to go there? Like you had no idea that,
I did not know he was a doctor. I mean, I didn't know he was a Christian.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then he introduced me to his co-worker. Her name is Manami Okada. She's Seventh-day Adventist. That's what made me think.
Mm.
She's Seventh-day Adventist, on fire for Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
you
so
know?
cool.
Manami is her first name, Okada. She's not a surgeon.
Hmm. Wow.
And she was talking to us, you know, yeah, on fire.
That's awesome. Wow.
SDA.
If you guys get time, like, it's on YouTube, it's New Hope Tabula, but it's last week's.
Mm.
This guy was
Yeah, I
awesome.
want to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, he,
Okay,
his middle name literally, because his dad was a Seventh-day Adventist preacher, and his middle name literally means, in Spanish, it means Seventh Day Sabbath or something. So he's like, this has been Brennan, he's doing a whole series on Sabbath.
Yeah, Mark has
Oh,
been.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
super
crazy.
dope. So they brought this guy in, and he had been a preacher, went through seminary, or whatever, but he said that he didn't actually get saved till like 2016 was when he like felt the Holy Spirit. So it was from not a 7-day Adventist teacher. It's, you know, 7-day Adventist is very like structured and rigid and legalistic in a lot of ways. And so now he's like bringing that perspective to it's really cool. That's awesome. It's really cool.
Wow.
yeah. And hey, our worship team is going to do a little R&B worship in the new year.
What?
I said, Micah, I told Brent, I said, Brent, let's do some R&B because we're playing R&B worship last night, right?
Hmm.
I don't know who was it we were listening to, but anyway. I said, right, let's do some R&B worship. And I said, Mike, R&B worship, man.
No.
Let's be work of life. And he said, yeah, Pastor Mike, new year. I said, good, new year, new you sound.
Hey.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we have a little different sound to the worship band this year.
Sounds good.
R&B.
Yeah, you guys are doing country,
Mhm.
R&B,
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
do it all, man.
Yeah.
Get more electronics on stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
let's get that
Yeah, that
red
was-
keyboard.
That was
Techno?
cool on Thursday, yeah.
that's
Techno
really
one.
cute.
Electronic.
Let's just try-
Must have been helpful. I was like, well, that sounded pretty good.
You guys are totally R&B. I know you've been, yeah.
We'd be down.
Oh, yeah,
You gave us the green light, so.
Gospel.
yeah. Some gospel, yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were playing that music in the trolley, right?
Mm,
I mean, people were jamming to it, they were dancing to it.
Yeah.
And what a great vision it was last night.
Some Toby Mac.
Toby Mac.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Just a
wow.
rap.
Where's Ramadan good?
Yeah,
Spit a mean rap during worship.
Oh, and just I'll do a spoken word in the middle.
yeah.
Oh, well, hey, speaking of big announcements, so tonight, I want to share with you guys, because you guys are the.
I was hoping,
What?
I was just about to ask you,
Oh, yeah.
do we get to get a sneak peek? of
Yeah, a
your
little sneak
announcement?
peek of tonight, yeah, I'm gonna announce it to the church that. So I won't be coming back, but I'll play a different role, and we'll keep Mark as senior.
Nice.
Transition has occurred.
Let's go.
And so next gen is rising up. I really believe that that's, that's his orchestration,
Mm, 100%.
I mean, not that he had to like give me a stroke for me to figure it out.
Mm.
But that it's like a sign, like, hey, you did great. I mean, it's a good season. But like make room, right? Make room for the next generation to rise up.
Mm.
And the whole pastoring role, the whole role as pastor, especially a senior pastor. That is not like a quick journey. It's a long journey of figuring out, like, what kind of pastor am I? Like, how is the Lord working through me? Right? And so Mark began the process, but in 2 months, he's not gonna figure it out, right?
Mm.
So we're gonna continue to let him just go on that journey. It's like a long takeoff. And I'll still be there, get to be there, I get to be the guy, I get to be the magi that said, hey, there's Murr. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, we have a little joke we wanna do.
What was it? Oh.
You guys should like dress up like Jedi's.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a lightsaber. No, but the actual,
gross.
it's not till next year.
Yeah. It'll start in January.
Yeah.
So January 2nd, his
Oh.
installment.
Oh,
Yeah, gotta come, man.
I will.
Yeah, come.
He goes, yeah, when's the coronation? Like, there's no coronation. It's like inauguration, like installment. Think of an appliance that's just being put into person. Stop worrying.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody was asking me that when.
They're like, what do we call the service? Inauguration. I'm like, no, inauguration, coronation. No, there's no crowns involved. Installation.
He's not gonna be president.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Do that with that joke we're gonna tell.
Well,
Let's practice it.
let's break it. Let's see if I put me on the spot. I'm no good at improv.
Yeah.
It's from it was Tom Cruise, Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's super funny.
Yeah, we gotta figure it out for tonight. What
Yeah.
we're gonna do. We're gonna do it tonight or?
No, that's
Oh,
pretty much.
that's for Jan. Yeah, we got.
Inauguration.
I'm not gonna extend it. Absolutely not gonna extend it. We got plenty of time.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
We'll check it out.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
he goes,
Padua.
do you like the title senior pastor or lead pastor? 100% lead pastor. Like, there's no way. I'm not in the senior pastor. I said, I don't feel like a senior. I feel like a freshman pastor. Yeah, it's crazy.
How do you feel about that?
You know, I was talking to Becky last night, actually. Becky was asking how everything was doing. And when we were talking about like healing and stuff, you made a comment earlier where you're like, what about the part where like God works through stuff like this, and his will in all of it, right?
Mm.
And Becky made a comment like, I wonder if it took this for both you and your dad to kind of be open to this transition at this time, I think for me especially, I don't know about you, but for me, 100%, like it almost like necessitates a transition. And I told my dad, I was like, we can do like a long-term interim thing where you do come back when you're feeling ready. They said, and even the staff, when we told them, the sentiment was like, well, if it's going to happen at some point, and I agree with this. Because while we have my dad here, while I have my dad here, it's like someone who can speak major wisdom. It's like, will I be more open and receptive to receiving it already in the role or in anticipation of the role? It's like, oh, okay, that'll be good to know at that time, versus like, okay, I need to know that right now because I'm like already, there's more urgency and intentionality. And so I already feel like completely way over my head, but I think that hunger and that urgency is a good thing. And it's almost like kind of what Becky was saying. It's like, I wonder if the Lord knew you kind of needed a little fire under your butt, to kind of just like,
A little push.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So,
Not in a bad way, just like in a way of just how humble you were before. Because even when we got together that morning.
oh yeah, that's right. That day.
That was
that day.
It happened that day.
It happened that day.
He literally said maybe he'd be ready in a couple of years, so I don't think it was like a push that you needed to like, that you weren't willing, it was just like, you were just that humble and that respective of like, you respect him so much.
It just seems like God is saying something through this,
100%.
but all that said, yeah, I'm realizing now, like, what big shoes like a lead pastor, especially my dad for our church has been walking in, it puts it in a whole new light.
Wow.
If you just kind of, it's like, oh yeah, Pastor Mike, he's there, it's like, but you don't see what a lead pastor like contends for and like the covering they provide.
Right.
And that's the part where I'm like, I'm not there yet. That's the part I need to grow into. Just like have vision and covering, just like you cannot like can't just make that happen.
Yeah.
You can't just like manufacture that stuff. It is like has to come from God, And so that's what I told my dad when he was having the conversation, was like, how do you feel about that? It's like, I just feel like there's things that you do that I'm not doing in my current role that I will have to learn how to do. Like, and that's to like contend for vision and covering and it's like, yeah. So I'm glad you'll be there, every step of the way.
It's like throw the kid in the deep end, right? But you're standing on the side of the pool, like you're thinking that's dropping.
Yeah. Like now I learned how to swim.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's like hit you in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Throw in deep end, okay, on the other side.
Right.
But it's the overlap part that I think is critical, There's gonna be tremendous, we're gonna be like running together. It's not just like a handoff kind of thing. Yeah, that's what's so sweet. And then also just the rest of the pastoral team, the rest of the church. But I'm open, man. Kai, junior board member.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah,
We're gonna
get installed on the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the board right now, it's shadowing.
Yeah.
And then in January, we're thinking about you guys are being installed, you and Mark.
Yeah, cool.
Then it becomes lieutenant colonel, and it becomes an actual board member. They can actually vote and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
Right now, their vote doesn't count. They just like, like practice.
Yeah. We just make side comments.
oh, I mean,
Great comments.
Ty, has just spoken huge wisdom and discernment into the conversations and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
For youth.
No, not just for you, I mean, when we were talking about what to do with the LOH, you know,
Yeah.
when you were discerning with the Wahoo and stuff. And being there, and so, man, I'm so excited. All these guys, I'm excited to see. And not just in our church, like Brendan was saying, there just seems to be a new generation of, you know, it's like the next generation of leadership.
100%.
All my peers, like pastoral peers, a lot of them are sons who are stepping into their dads, like, wow.
Bravo.
Yeah, Brandon Abu, Mark Stinton. A lot of, I mean, in a way, TJ Gorham is kind of stepping up in Alex's, you know, Alex Wake. Pat McMall with the light. Same time I was there, he's at New Hope. Yeah, I don't know if they're New Hope, but yeah, they're for the white guy. I know it.
But yeah, I think like
Josh Oregon,
being ready,
Josiah Oregon, yeah.
being ready is like overrated. There's no definition of it.
Yeah, it's like having kids.
Yeah, exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's one, I think, the way God, the kingdom works is, you know, he throws you in, right? Then he says, okay, now grow into it,
Right,
not become this, like,
right.
so, and that is typical of the kingdom. It's like very, very faith oriented. Most of us would like to say, well, if I see it first, then I'll step out. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
To our chagrin. It doesn't work that way.
Tim Mackey said, like, the cool thing about having kids is like when you have a kid, you get to learn them. But in them, you learn you.
That's
You know?
right.
And so it's kind of like, yeah, you're not ready for it, but you're gonna learn who you are in the midst of it and how to be what you need to be through it, so.
That's right. Just have kids, man.
Hey, you're gonna practice this Sunday.
Yeah, that would be fun. Nah, it would be, how long is you guys' lunch anyways?
3 hours. Just kidding.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, you know, you can watch like one of them if you want, or two. He's like, no, we'll watch all three of them. I'm like, okay.
By yourself?
No,
Give
with
it
Darcy.
Darcy.
Oh,
I feel like it's easier. They all have each other, you know what I mean? It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fine.
Are they going to the house?
Yeah, we have a small house though.
Nice, yeah, no, that's.
But it's right up the road, so
That's
if there's an
right, right,
emergency,
right.
I'll give you guys.
Everybody
Show up at, we took a walk down the. That's on the way.
They're right there at the Blanco's original townhouse,
Yes,
that area.
Oh, yeah,
Where he lives.
that's right.
That's what we brought you
Whoa.
home from the hospital.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
full circle.
The kids will get to see
Yeah,
the
right.
whole
Full circle.
thing.
I got that video of it.
Wait, literally the same house? No, not the same
No,
exact.
they brought that
Same complex.
Complex, yeah.
We could look outside our balcony
would've
and look
And
and
see the
their-
unit? No way.
and see their unit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's right across the way.
Oh, it's not the. It's not the one where I was riding my bike. This is the first
So
one.
this is the first.
Oh, okay.
straight home from the
I
hospital.
have no memory of that place. at all.
Yeah, you would have no memory.
Because we moved when I was like one.
Yeah, that's where you had your first Christmas.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Crazy.
I think maybe the Lazars will have their first kid in that same complex.
Exactly.
We may.
It's a Wellington complex.
Yeah,
Senior pastors come from that.
hey. No, speaking of which, because we were talking and this transition will happen around the 24-year mark of
Yes,
pastoring, right? Senior
my
pastoring.
24th year. Yeah.
24th. So I'm thinking almost exactly the same way. I'm thinking, God willing, I will like run for maybe 25-ish years, maybe 30, you know, if I'm lucky.
Mhm.
But I'm already thinking like end game. And I'm already thinking like who's coming next. kind of
Getting
thing.
up.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about my exit strategy. I mean, sorry.
Like a tangent, huh?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
30-ish,
Judah will be
20.
30 exactly in
30,
25
yeah.
years. Yeah, so,
Yeah, that's right.
but in 30 years, he'll be like
He'll be
mid 30s, like my age, yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, Mark
Hey,
asked
maybe
me-
it'll be Evangeline.
Yeah, maybe that's right.
Engine.
She will be
She'll be my age.
36.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Female senior pastor.
Could be Emmett, dude. Pastor Emmett could be next.
He's gonna be worship leader, pastor.
Worship
Worship
leader.
leader.
Maybe the roles will reverse.
Take over.
Judah will be the worship leader.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
That is a great vision to have multi-generational,
oh man,
and then,
Wow.
Hoku will be on the worship team.
Hoku will be a board member and,
Yeah, on the board. Yeah, Hoku will be on the board.
Yeah, we got
Hoku
so
will
many kids.
be- Dude,
With Cole,
So many kids.
Mahia,
and solid kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
super solid.
kids were solid,
The
yeah.
youth are solid, man, and they're coming out.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the things
Sure.
that occurred to me as I was thinking about you, like stepping into a lead role. Is to have, your face as the lead role, right? I'm hoping that will inspire the next generation. We think, well, wow, he's 36 and he's a lead pastor. What am I doing with my life,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Yeah, Mark asked me like, how old was I when I started
Mm,
the church in 1998, so I was exactly 40.
mhm.
I just turned 40. And I became the pastor of the midweek, the New Hope midweek one. Yeah, and then that midweek service
Yeah.
became a Sunday service.
Mhm.
We started off with maybe 2,000 people, at the time.
That's crazy to me, to think of how you pioneered a church with like with a truck and like
Yeah.
a couple dozen people,
And Pastor Wayne made me pay for that truck.
Thank you, Pastor Wayne, we love you.
That's gonna be on YouTube.
What's the story behind that? How did you?
Oh.
Yeah, so,
Cut the
so.
mic.
No, yeah, Pastor Wayne, had this community vision, right, that midweek services on Wednesday nights would move in different communities, right? So we had one like you went on, we had, that was a big one. And then we had ours here right here in Melanie, and we met at Weiner, right across the street there, Melanie Weiner, in those pavilions. Yeah, so we set up out there and we had like worship there, gave a message. And then when time came for me to plant the church. So these midweeks had their own truck, with equipment in it, and then came time to start the church. He said, okay, Mike, take that midweek service. It's cool because there's already seat fund because you take an offering at the midweek service, and they kept that like in a separate ledger. And they said, okay, this is gonna be like your start fund, right? So all the funds that you raise, that becomes part of your salary. And so we started a Sunday service. There was no school open here. So we did that at Wyoming Middle School. So we started
Elementary school?
Wyoming Middle,
Oh, middle school.
yeah, the middle school on Rose Street.
It was called New Hope Mililani. And then met at Wyoming Middle School.
Yeah,
It was prophetic, they would get back and go on it, so.
yeah, so our house is in Mililani. And so I was thinking of the community in which we live, right? And so we went there. We still called it New Hope Mililani, but it was in Wyoming.
Props to the Wahiwa people who came to New Hope Mililani and Wyoming.
Yeah, they didn't care.
They didn't care.
Yeah. And so the church grew there, probably to about 225, in Wyoming School. And then EK opened up. So the school, this was like in 2004, I think it was. And we said, hey, can we have church in the cafeteria? So we moved to EK. And so when we planned to go, Pastor Wayne said, hey, get the payment for that truck. I think I paid him like 10 grand or something like that for the truck.
Wow.
Yeah. He was just gonna give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that fine? No, that's fair. I don't wanna take a truck.
So are you still under Pastor Wayne, or did you branch off in
Relational,
relational?
yeah. So we were Foursquare all those years until 2012. And Foursquare is really big on tied to the denomination. And I don't know, I mean, they're great people. I don't have any issue with them personally. But I thought that was exorbitant, like wow, 10%. Even Pastor Lee was doing that, and you're like, wow, that's a big cut. 10% of your tithe goes into donation. So I asked them, oh, and plus the thing is like, we were planning to get some property and build a building. And this was weird because they said, so when you build this building, if you come into Foursquare, that building belongs to Foursquare. And you want to cushion yourself?
Yeah, please.
I
Thank you so much.
Is it hurting right now?
Yeah,
Spin.
it's all right. I just need to get it like above my heart, basically, so I'm just trying to get it. Sorry.
What, like a box or something?
You and your blood.
You want something higher, like a?
Yeah, is there,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I
yeah.
just gotta get it like above my heart, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
There's like a bag box with the blanket in it.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Didn't give you anything for the pain.
Dude, I didn't want anything, man. No, like. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
One way to command you.
Softer too when you rest your foot, right?
Yeah.
That's
good, yeah.
You guys prayed for my shoulder the last time, when I came in, it was like an extreme pain. Cause it was the second day of surgery, and then you guys prayed for it when I was here, I felt like there was a numbing. It wasn't hurting as bad,
Good.
and once I got home, all the pain came back.
Whoa.
And it hurt more because I came here, I was moving around, I told Erica, well, I was like, I'm not gonna move, I'm just gonna sit right here. The second or the third day, the pain, the first 3 days were the worst. Then once the pain from the surgery kind of went away, I feel like it, you know how like, I remember, I think it was you last time talking about healing. There's different types of healing. There's like, you can pray for it, it's immediately healed. You know, there's healing through doctor's advice. There's healing that when you command healing, it sets into motion. It can be a progressive, faster healing. I feel like it was like that because I know this shoulder was a different surgery than this one, but I feel like, I don't know, once the pain went away from the surgery, I just feel like it's been sped up.
Nice.
Good.
You know, I could move it more. I have to remind myself not to do anything, but
Did you pray over the other one at all?
no, that
Yeah.
no, I didn't
Yeah.
have anybody there for that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's like partnering, like even just the awareness of partnering the physical with the spiritual.
Yeah.
Just so many times we just compartmentalize it so much.
Yeah.
It's like even the temple awareness.
Good way of
that, like,
putting it.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's biblical too, progressive healing. There's some stories where it says on the way they were healed, you know, so it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he did it and then they're leaving, but they're still got all their infirmities and stuff,
Right,
and then
yeah.
they're journeying, and then it's like
Yeah.
progressively
Yeah,
they're
so that
getting
was-
healed.
Or the eyesight. You know,
Yeah.
visiting
Oh, yeah,
That one's
isn't that
super-
crazy?
that one's
That's so
super
interesting. What was that all about?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Maybe that was to show the prolonged. for-
Maybe, yeah, I mean, because you think Jesus is like one hit wonder.
Yeah, especially when he's like tapped in, you know.
Yeah,
like,
he's always
God's
tapped
will,
in.
you just. This is it.
It's like, what do you see now? Shakes?
Yeah.
Really? Come on, Jesus. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, I think that was for our benefit.
Yeah,
It's like,
right, it's like,
I'll get
mess
it.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even he got it.
No.
Uh-oh.
He did it for us.
You might get fired from Packer.
Well, I'm thinking about that, you know, because yeah, you can see the different stories of healing, right? None of them fall into any kind of formula. There is no formula. So even like that one conversation in Matthew 17 where he says, "Do you trust me to heal you? Do you trust me?"
Yeah.
He asks him first, "Do you trust me to heal you?"
Yeah.
And the guy says, "Yes, help me, you know, help me in my unbelief."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I believe, but I'm not really, you know.
Yeah.
I want to believe.
Yeah, I want to believe, right? And if you just look at that story in isolation, right, it makes you think like your healing depends on you when it does not, right? It's like if I could just put enough faith coins into the slot machine, right, then I'll get my healing, right? And I think that's how mountain works, actually. I think it's like trying to add to the work of Jesus completed for you, right?
Hmm.
So when he says, it is finished. It's finished, right? So the healing is done. And but you notice that in different stories, you have like Jesus, like almost like almost sounds upset, like, how long do I have to be with this unbelievable generation, you know? Okay, bring him over here, I'll help him. Boom, he's healed. Well, they didn't have enough coins, right, for the faith machine. And Jesus still healed. Then, of course, you think of a dead person, you know, like the widow of Nain or something.
Oh, yeah.
Dead person's got no faith. It's dead, right?
Yeah.
Lazarus, he had no faith.
Mm,
So it doesn't
Hmm.
always depend on your faith. I mean, he definitely wants you
mhm.
to grow in your faith.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're trying to achieve a certain level of faith
Mm,
before you can see healing happen.
Hmm.
Like, for example, the centurion, right, or the Roman soldier.
Mhm.
Jesus was astounded by it. I haven't seen this much faith in all of Israel.
mhm.
Boom, healed. Right.
Long distance.
Long distance. Yeah, I don't even have to go here. So the fact, don't come to my house. I know you can do it from here. Wow. All right. And what's interesting is like, I feel like, you know, having read all these stories, right? That's where my faith is, you know? And I would love, yeah, I would love just to know, like, how Jesus could do it so automatically.
Mm,
And maybe there's still something of a kind of renewing of my mind that's to happen, perhaps, you know?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. There's definitely a kind of, I don't know exactly what that journey is like,
mhm.
you know.
I feel like something super significant happened in the wilderness. Like he like, even though his crucifixion happened 3 years later, he was
Yeah.
crucified
Yeah,
to himself completely in that wilderness.
yeah,
Yeah, he died before
He
was
died before his ministry even began. He
Yeah.
was just completely emptied and like
Yeah,
available for all out, like,
walking dead man, yeah.
to the point where it's just like, doesn't even have a house, doesn't even have a residence, just like on the move and just like
completely tapped into what the will is.
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's where what the missing piece is. It's like Jesus, his top and only priority was the will of God.
Mhm.
And so he was like tapped into a level that most of us aren't able to. And so he was able to differentiate what illnesses and injuries and whatever were happening for a cosmic reason, where we can't really comprehend that. Because can I read
Yeah.
this Job part?
Yeah.
Because I've just been meditating on this a bunch. So
Mm,
again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them to present himself before the Lord. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?"
mm,
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From roaming about on the earth and walking around on it." And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, fearing God and turning away from evil." And he still holds fast, because this is after he's already, taken his flock and everything.
oh, wow.
Integrity, yep. Although you incited me against him to ruin him without cause. Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin. Yes, all that a man has, he will give for his life. However, put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face." So the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, he is your power. He is in your power, only spare his life." And it's like, we can't even like comprehend these like conversations that are like happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much good coming from this. And that's why it's hard. That's what I was struggling with last time we were praying over you guys. And I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to hurt you guys. I didn't want to rub you guys the wrong way, but like me not attending church, me having like a third party view of what's going on. And I just saw God's hand on every single piece of it.
Mhm.
Like with Mark stepping in and just how much good it was doing for the church and how much impact it was gonna have on the community. And that's what it was hard for me to like pray for like healing in that moment, just because I'm like, man, there's like so much. And I don't know if like, well, obviously he doesn't want us to be sick and stuff, but like we can't really comprehend this like alignment of like spiritual with physical always,
Mhm.
you know, unless we're just like completely submitted.
Yeah, no,
And I
right.
think Peter had the power to like go and just be like, you shall be healed and stuff, because he was just that in touch because he walked with Jesus and he knew what Jesus would was. He knew the people that Jesus would heal and he wanted. I don't know, that's my opinion that I've been like kind of
Yeah.
like wrestling with. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
wrong theologically or anything, but.
It almost
Yeah.
seems, I mean, to me, and I don't know if this is right or wrong either, but like healing to me is a means to an end, right?
Yeah.
It's utilitarian, right? It serves a purpose, you know, to reveal, to give credence to the word, right? Like that's what the signs and wonders were for, to point to the authority and the credibility of the word, right? And so it almost seems, and this is like, you know, just this is not biblical, this is just my opinion, right? It almost seems like more so the masses would get healed, right? So like street healing and stuff, because these people don't have any you know, concept of Jesus. So it's like their introduction, but it's like you look at like Bill Johnson's wife, you know, you look at like
Lazarus.
a lot of these people in, you know, who have a solid relationship, not that they won't get healed, but it's like it almost seems more purposeful, you know, that something would happen in the midst of the struggle, you know, and it's like a lot of times I think our greatest testimony is not when we're on the mountaintop, you know, it's like how do Christians navigate the
Yes.
valley?
Continue to
That speaks to the world in ways that like, you know, the triumphs don't. So not that we don't contend, obviously we always contend for healing, but I'm in the same camp too, where it's just like, what's happening in the midst of this? Because I don't want to miss that either,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's the exact conclusion because I've
Yeah.
had 4 days to literally only meditate on this.
Yeah, right.
And that's the conclusion I came to. I think how we treat non-Christians with healing, how we treat Christians.
Almost.
Christians, we have to be asking ourselves, like, what is at work in this?
Yeah.
With non-Christians, I feel like we can go in with almost more authority. You know what I
Maybe,
mean?
yeah, I don't know. Seems to be that way, but I don't know, you know?
I think, I mean, in faith, it's good to pray over it and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's good to have both perspectives, because in your perspective and then the healing perspective, it's God's gonna work his way in all situations.
Right,
yeah.
He's gonna work his
Yeah.
good, and
Right.
why it happens, I guess it's his sovereignty, the way he works through
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
But it's like, if, I don't know, because I think about it too, I'm always like, if you want us to go heal, then if they don't get healed, why don't they get healed? If you,
Yeah.
then it's like,
That's the navigating.
yeah,
Kind
and
of
then sometimes you
discern.
allow something to happen, but then good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Like for you, you're saying it's good for you because you needed a rest. You needed to sit down, you were saying like, you know, I know God was telling me
Yeah.
I need to just chill out with
Yeah.
him for a little bit, and then this happened. I'm not saying that he made you,
Mm.
but he's working.
Right.
And so it's like this big equation where he just works good in all situations.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're his kids,
Yeah, sure.
he's gonna orchestrate work through.
yeah, I think that's true.
Even if the enemy attacks you, he's gonna work that out
Mm.
for good. It's gonna be something good that happens.
Do you guys ever, people that are, because I know Kai definitely is getting into it way more, when you guys are going into a healing environment, or like if you're orchestrating like a healing night or something like that, are you discerning before you pray? Are you asking like, is this God's will to heal this person right now in this moment? Or are you always just going in and just shooting for the healing?
Right?
I think, like it says in the book of Psalm, when I delight in you, you give me the desires of my heart. And so I feel like when you have so much oneness with the Father, it's realizing that he's already imparted into you what his will is
Yeah,
Right.
and his
I would like
desire
to
for
get
your
there.
life.
James 5, yeah.
And James, yeah.
Yeah, so in other words, I've noticed that too, it's like,
Yeah.
there's like, the word of knowledge kind of giving, like, there's somebody here, you know, you've got like,
Yeah.
cancer or whatever. And then that person gets healed. I see that at 7 o'clock, you know, like TV show.
Yeah.
Where there's someone out there with an ear problem, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the person that gets healed, but. I actually don't see Jesus doing it that way.
Mhm.
Right.
He just like, you know, a couple of blind guys like,
Yeah.
Jesus, son of David, you know, have mercy on us. Okay, boom.
Yeah, they approached him. You know.
They approached him, yeah.
Mhm.
And there's this crazy thing where Jordan Peterson is speaking at this like
Yeah.
Liberty College. And this guy, you know, comes rushing out of the stand. He says, Dr. Peterson, you know, I'm not well, I need help, you know. And they were trying to like stop him, you know. And he said, like, no, don't push him, don't stop him. And then he began, this is Liberty University, right, Christian college. So they started praying for him right there on the stage. It was a crazy moment.
Mm.
Did you guys see that?
I did.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with Jesus. It was like, there's a lot of like interruptions, right?
Right.
Yeah,
See my, I just put this up. Oh, yeah. This is pretty cool. And I've been kind of just like staring at this.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Pastor Wayne just did a really good, I only caught the excerpt of it.
So this is the woman with the issue of blood. And she's reaching out and she's touching the hem of his garment. Yeah, so like in the spirit, I've been trying to do that myself. Like,
Yeah.
Lord, I reach out, touch the hem of the
Yeah.
garment. But then, there's something about the way this woman touched him. That, pretty cool. So that's actually my photo from, Israel. There's a chapel and then there's this big portrait on the wall. And I took it, it's just part of, it's a crop picture of it, much bigger mural on the
Yeah.
wall, the whole wall is like, this is a gigantic painting. It's awesome. So I took it.
Yeah.
You stole
Stole it, yeah, I took a picture.
Like Nicolas Cage, National Treasure.
Yeah,
it. And I think you're right on point, Brandon, with what you're saying. Like, I think if we can truly say we're step in step
yes.
spirit, then we will just be able to discern that in the moment.
Yeah.
But I think a lot
In
of
the moment, right?
times when those environments are kind of created,
Yeah.
we're like trying to manifest something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
I've just
that's-
seen that misused so much.
But that's just the disconnect with our fleshly nature and our spiritual nature, right?
Oh, yeah,
I think we're always gonna battle that, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, we so desperately want to know everything, but it's never
Yeah.
gonna be that because of
Yeah.
our finite mind.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
because I feel the frustration too. I'm just like, okay, well, I want personally to have this person healed, but is that the will of the Father? You know, I'm gonna pray for it regardless, but
But
be
again,
honest with you.
that's our personal intention too.
Right.
That's, and so the thing that I've been trying to understand from my learnings and diving into this world of healing is that how we can sometimes struggle with the physical and the worldly view versus the spiritual. So it's not always something that, because we can't understand it from the spiritual realm or the soul realm, it's maybe not that you're getting the direct healing in the physical realm, but there can definitely be a tap in connection that when we're praying for the physical, there could be something spiritual that we are healing and imparting. Right?
Wow.
So you have to think of it not just from the physical worldly view, because we can't understand it completely.
Yeah.
But there could be something, as he was praying, or if I was praying, all of us was praying, that when there was that paralysis,
Right.
there was a spiritual attack, and maybe that's what
Yeah.
God's will is for.
Right.
And he's not necessarily just saying, okay, I'm not going to heal you physically. I may be anointing you with that physical presence so that you can carry on in more faith
Yeah.
on the spiritual
Or even getting more prayer in like a time of need or something.
and more and more.
It's honestly like Mark's prayer, like just of like, just like, just, he wasn't really speaking the physical, he was speaking to like what emotionally and
Yes.
mentally and spiritually were going on with me. And it's like, yeah, that's right. That's awesome. It's awesome to like have people like caring for you, you know?
yeah, God's will will always be done, and we need to open our eyes to the goodness, regardless of what we don't think is good.
Right.
I love what you said, right, about like walking in step. I think that's
Yeah,
exactly what he
exactly.
did, right?
Yeah.
Like he was able to discern, like, the blind man. Born blind,
Yeah.
never saw it, has no concept of what sight is.
Yeah.
And then gets a sight, right?
How does he say, I see what looks like trees? Like, how do you know what a tree looks like?
Oh, right.
Probably just from what was described as like, I think what I'm seeing is be trees.
Yeah, exactly.
If,
Blind
yeah,
people
yeah.
have the concept.
Yeah, they have a concept.
I mean,
Yeah.
they still think, right?
Yeah, they touch a tree. Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of healing too is like talking about like these like time frames and our understanding of time. And that's what's been so cool about your guys' sermon series that you've been on with like, kingdom and it's just like we almost have to get outside of like our idea what
Yeah.
time is, understanding. That's what Kyle was saying. Like
Yeah.
obviously we're all going to be healed in some
Mhm.
point, but it's like it's not so linear. Like we see it so linear. you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. It's not like in the future,
Right,
right? That's why we say that, do we know it's God's will?
Mhm,
Like Andrew says, it is God's will, right,
Mhm.
that should be healed.
mhm,
The reason he says that is because there is no disease in heaven,
mhm.
no disease in heaven, no sin in heaven. So
100%
heaven is the
healing.
perfect will of God. There's no leprosy,
Right.
there's no strife, there's no fighting, there's no poverty.
yeah,
See, so heaven is the perfect will of God. So we're contending for that now, to
Mhm,
come and invade this space right now,
Mhm.
which is like all of like N.T. Wright's book. I've been like, just reading that, Surprised by Hope.
oh, okay,
Yeah, he said that's his number one bestseller.
wow,
Personally,
sure.
N.T. Wright.
Yeah.
Because his whole point is like, even right now, in amongst the church in America right now, the pervasive belief is that we're going to die and go to heaven.
And leave,
So you believe the reason for your salvation prayer is so you'll go to heaven one day,
right,
right? And he's saying, no, that's nowhere in the Bible. He says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
right,
You are to contend for heaven now
right.
in your spaces, right? Which is gonna be our meditation for 2023. This is gonna be great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so Joseph Lee is coming in January.
Yeah.
He's operates in healing ministry and stuff, so
Mhm.
I feel like there's a hunger.
Yeah.
When he comes to hear what he
Yeah.
has to say.
Yeah. It was crazy. when
He prayed for you, didn't he, when he was here last time?
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was sitting right there where you were.
Joseph Lee, his family's from New Zealand, and they have a healing ministry in New Zealand. They
Yeah.
came one other time to our church, ministered.
Joseph Lee.
He's
Yeah.
not Chinese. He's like a.
He's not Korean.
He's not, yeah,
He's
Lee is like-
he's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. He's from New Zealand. Cool guy, super cool guy. His family comes out. So I think there's a hunger to hear what he has to say, because we're all
Yeah.
thinking in terms of healing right now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear his take on it. You know, it'd be awesome if we could do with Joseph Lee a Q&A.
Yeah.
Because all these questions we're asking here, like, it'd be awesome to hear his take on it, Because, yeah.
Send them this,
this
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, can you help us out?
That's the all.
Not at all.
Pray for your life through the video, you can heal.
Right?
So our Christmas meditation this morning is awesome because this is what is available to us right now. It's like very cool. And we're all on the same journey together, none of us are there, right? Trying to just go on this journey of contending for his kingdom to come,
Yeah.
full measure. And so that's exciting.
I had this crazy Devo. I don't know if it's in line with what we're talking about, but it just put like Jesus's sacrifice in another light,
Mhm.
It's when he's getting arrested in the garden. And one of his disciples cuts the priest's servant's ear off,
It's
right?
Peter.
Is it Peter? Okay.
Matthew doesn't.
Yeah, Matthew
say
doesn't
it,
clarify,
Yeah.
but
I think John said it's Peter.
John's always throwing Peter under the.
Yeah, Matthew's a really love Peter.
Matthew's like trying to, and this John's just like, yeah, me and Peter were running to the tomb. I got there way before him. I was there. Yeah, there's a little rivalry there. But anyway, yeah, so Peter cuts the servant's ear off. Then Jesus makes a statement. Yeah, Jesus makes a statement that like I've read, but like never understood.
Mm.
Where he says, like, dude, put that sword away.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm not helpless in this situation. I don't need defending.
Right.
At any second, I could call 12 legions of angels to like put all this to an end.
Right.
What's crazy to me is like, I thought, man, imagine if you were being tortured, right? But you weren't helpless.
Mm.
Imagine if you had a button in your hand and at any point you could push it to make it stop. But you just took it all with your hand on the button, like, and you just let it happen. And you could push the button at any moment. It's like, because if you think about it, like if you're overpowered and martyred, that's one thing. He was never helpless.
Right.
Like he
Yeah.
was never
Never the victim.
never
And that he said that, he's like, no one takes my life from me, like I give it willingly.
Right.
And not just at the moment he was arrested, he continued to like endure it
That's good.
willingly, like as he's being like flogged and stuff. He could stop it and reverse it and heal himself, like the countless people he healed.
Yeah.
He could come off the cross if he wanted to. And I thought, man, that's almost more impressive to me than the fact that he actually took the beating, was that he took it and could have stopped it. Because psychologically,
Oh,
if you could make the pain stop in the midst of it, you would, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing I was thinking that would like, it's like, could I do that? Like if I'm being tortured and I had the button in my hand, after the first whip, I'm probably pushing it, right? Like, all right, stop, I'm done. Like, yeah, after the first couple punches, you know?
and the anticipation was his whole life. He was thinking
Yeah.
about it coming at any time.
And what's crazy is
His whole
he did
life.
the garden, right? And he's like, man, I know what's about to happen. You know,
Yeah.
is there any other way?
Even at the
And
table
yeah.
too. Somebody's
get-
gonna betray me.
Yeah, and he gets a clear no. This is the only
Yeah.
way. And he's like, okay. From that point on, it's like no
Prayer
questions.
changed.
Just like, let's do it. And like for the joy set before him, he embraced the
Yeah,
cross,
yeah.
right? He did it joyfully. And so I thought,
Wow.
how could I physically possibly do that? Like endure that? And the only thing that I thought of was, if you had the button, right? But they told you, if you push the button, it's not going to be you, it's going to be your kids. Easy not to do it.
Right.
And that's what he was thinking.
Yep.
It's like, I push this button. If I stop this, it's going to be them who has to do what I'm doing, you know? I thought that's the only way you could do it, is knowing that like, I have to do
You're gonna
it
save somebody else.
because it's going to save the ones I love. Like you see his disciples, like, and I was like, man, it's so powerful. I never thought of it in terms of like, he really could have stopped it at any moment, and just moment by moment, like in every stage, he just allowed it to happen. Because he thought, man, if I don't do it, it's gonna be them. So I don't know. That's just like took my gratitude for that to a whole nother level.
This is what the clinic's punching.
Yeah,
That's heavy, bro.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jaylee about that. I was like, how did he do that? How did he do it? Like, how did he not stop it? How did he let it happen? And I thought, man, the only way I could do it is if I knew my kids were being held captive. It's like, if it's not you, it's them. I would have thrown the button down. Do your worst then.
Wow.
It's amazing, yeah.
This guy's so cool.
It's amazing becoming a father. How much of a privilege it is, when whole mind just opens up to a new perspective of
I mean, you'll do
heavenly
it.
Father perspective.
You'll do it. Yeah.
I remember when I was, when Erica was pregnant with Noah, and I was like sitting down, spending time, quiet time in the morning. And he was saying, like, I was thinking, Noah wasn't even born. And that was my son.
Mhm.
And I already loved him so much. And I remember God said,
It's right here.
sorry. God said, I have a son too. And I didn't know how it is.
Yep.
And I didn't even get to hold Noah. I started thinking about it. God watched
Mhm.
watching him. Well, Jesus. And he said, now you put your stick. They can't even say it like.
Yeah.
His breath is so deep. It wasn't until I had no that I really like understood the depths. And it was like. And it was at hands of like people that were cursing him, you know.
Yeah.
like- But man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was like it's changing.
An incredible sacrifice. And a perspective like after you have your own stuff.
Yeah. I think that's it, man. We were talking about like, I was like, what changed from the first covenant to the second covenant, you know?
Yeah.
He gave them a bunch of laws, but they couldn't do it.
Right.
And now it's just like, we're living in a new time where we can't, right? Where we can, he changes our heart, and it's that. It's the understanding of what God did for us. That's the only way that you can live for him. It's not just like, here's my standard, like live up to it. It's like, I'm gonna do something for you. That is so radical, so like gracious, that it will actually change you. Like you will be changed by the reality of my love and grace for you through my son.
Yeah.
And in that you will be transformed, and you will be able to begin to live for me with a whole new heart, not out of like obligation or duty, but because you are rocked by like a level of my love.
Yes.
And grace for you.
Love.
Yeah.
This is the revelation.
That God would do that for you is the only thing that can like change your heart, you know?
That's what cool is about.
And so,
Yeah.
so it's crazy that we get to live in that time.
I want to share with you guys what I've been going through the past 4.5 years. I just been in a season. You know, Mark, you were saying I wanted to get to the victory side of this and be able to share like the whole story. But sometimes we gotta share in the valley.
Yeah.
On the mountaintop.
Yeah.
I shared with you and Mona a while back. When I was going through. So I shared with you guys when I was in jail. And he removed the Klonopin, the benzo, diazepine out of my life. This is crazy, man. So I went through 1 year of, it was the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced, mentally, physically, psychologically, every type of pain from this withdrawal from this drug. And there was no breaks for an entire year. So I don't know if you guys ever had like suffered through something and for like a month with no breaks every day from morning to night. And it's like a second by second, literally, you're literally fighting for the next second. And you have no breaks, and you have to do this every single day. So I went through that for a year from that drug. So I was at work, man, and there were so many times where I was just gonna kill myself. I couldn't handle the pain. And I was working at a golf course when I was at work, and I remember I just had like a surge of these symptoms, and it was so bad, bro. And I remember amongst the many times that I ran to the trees and I just was crying my eyes out. And this surge came, I just remember, God, this is so much, I can't handle it. And then it just lifted and it was gone. And like, which is crazy because in this community, these people that are going through this withdrawal, it lasts for 5-10 years, sometimes lifetimes. So it's very common for people to kill themselves. You can't, it's not even like I'm pity part. I can't handle this anymore. So I remember I was at work and it literally it was so weird because it felt like it was this, it felt like I was in a war. And like, you know, like when you see war movies and they're like, da, 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 but the war finishes. So it's like this eerie quiet
Mhm.
and all you see is smoke, but there's no more gunshots. But you
Mm.
see like the chaos after and it's just this weird silence. That's what it felt like.
Mm.
And it was so weird, but I felt this peace.
Did you
And
open see the gladiator?
Huh?
Did you open see the gladiator at the end of that first battle?
Something like that. Yeah.
Just then it stops.
Yeah. And then everything's still and it's just like, yeah. Well, so I called Erica. I'm like, "Hey, babe, I'm healed. I'm
great.
healed." I'm like, I finally can live, man. So I get off the phone, I'm going to work, I'm at work, I'm all excited, happy. And then I started feeling something in the spirit, something bad was about to happen. I felt this doom. And so I'm like, I knew something bad was gonna happen. So I'm working, and then I start hearing like demons laughing, but not audibly. It's hard to explain, but it was like a laugh of, okay, now this is the moment we've been waiting for. We finally have permission to do what we're gonna do. So I'm working, and then out of nowhere, this spirit enters me and it goes from like, it hits me from head and enters not my spirit, but my soul and my flesh. And it was a spirit of the spirit that's in the LGBTQ, the homosexuality, gender confusion. It enters into my body and intuitively I knew what it was. But it was like what it was burning my skin, it was pulsating through my body. Immediately, like the moment what I thought was like, dude, like I just fought this 1 year battle. I had like 2 hour rest, and now this, like, this is like, it wasn't like, it was a full blown demonization. So now I'm at work and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is going on, man? Like, and I can't say, hey guys, like, give me a vacation. I'm gonna go home, and I had to keep working. So I went on break. I called Erica. I'm like, what? I'm cussing. It's just like, what's going on? So then I'm gonna try to wrap this in a nutshell because this has been 4 years and 7 months of pure torture for me. So for the next 4 months, I'm experiencing manifestations of the spirit, and it's a demon. Like, it's not physical, it's not human. I just couldn't figure out the legal right, why it was allowed to do this, right? Because I never struggled with this in my life. It wasn't like, I didn't understand what was going on. So, but the hard part about it was because I couldn't put things on hold. I had to keep going and keep working. The thing was manifesting. So for 24 hours a day, I could feel the spirit, and just the way the spirit feels is disgusting. Like, it's gross, dude. Like, and I have to feel and live like that. But it had full access to my soul to manipulate anything it wanted to do. So it was like I was living in a horror movie, tripping on acid, bro. Like, I was having hallucinations. This was all part of God's greater plan. He allowed all that because he wants me to expose it, because I understand how the spirit works now.
Wow.
But so I'm like at work, like it was a small crew, 3 coworkers, all guys. While this spirit's pulsating my body, I gotta like act normal. And then while I'm talking to him, I could feel it go up through my chest and through my head and manifest. And the men's faces melt and they turn into women. And I'm sitting here looking at them like, and it's not just what I'm seeing, it's the whole feeling associated that it's doing. And it's like, it's all terror. So I'm looking at them, and bro, like, I'm sober and I'm watching this, and I start having panic attacks. I'm like, yo, like, hold up, let me go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. I start having this full-blown panic attack. I experienced every personality that the spirit has, but I'm calling Erica every single day. Like, what's going on? Like, what? I can't, you know what I mean? So long story short, I experienced everything that this spirit does. So it's a spirit, right? So I'm telling, and okay, at the beginning of the season, God said, look, Isaiah, this is the season where I'm taking you into this place where everybody's going to fall off the side. It's just going to be you and me. And I'm going to teach you to hear my voice. I'm going to refine you in this fire. I'm gonna shape you. I'm gonna make you look like Jesus through all this pain. And so I couldn't run to my pastor. I couldn't run to anybody. I only had Erica. And so after like 4 months, I literally, I couldn't handle it anymore. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm like, bro, I can't do this. I'm at war at work, like praying in tongues, like, you can't do this to me. What's going on? I'm a child of God. Do you guys know who Chris Vallotton is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a book, Spirit Wars. He wrote a book called Spirit Wars. He had a similar situation where he was demonized for 3 years.
Jeez.
It's a real simple book. It's real small.
Wow.
And-
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's so he said when he was going through this, he didn't understand the biggest lie that he was taught was that Christians can't be demonized. So when this was going on, he
Dude,
thought
that's
it
what I was
was,
gonna ask you, what you say to those people, because I've been having people say that to me a lot lately.
yeah,
That what Christians can't be.
can't be demonized,
Can be,
can't be.
can't.
So he's thinking he's going crazy. He's having demons visit him. He's having things fall off the walls at night. He's having 30, 40 panic attacks. His wife is
pastor.
no, not pastor yet.
Oh,
but he's a believer.
He's a Christian, yeah.
Yeah, he owns a automotive shop.
Mm.
He's having 30, 40 panic attacks at night. His wife is changing the sheets throughout the night because he's sweating.
Wow.
So he goes to this, he moves from the city and goes to a quiet place because he thinks that it'll quiet everything, but actually made it worse because he can hear the demons more. So one day he's listening to this radio station and the pastor on it, he said, some of you think you're going crazy, but it's really a spirit of insanity. You need to rebuke the spirit of fear. So he turned that off and he goes, man, I laid down. I said, you know what? I rebuke you, spirit of fear. And he said, you're a dentist, right? He said like he had like this weighted vest on him, like a dentist vest, and it just lifted off, or a dentist vest, and it just lifted off.
With X-ray.
Yeah, and it was gone. And he goes, he's got a sermon on YouTube. You got to check it out. This is that's when he goes, dude, like you think that when you have a 3-year problem, that if it's that easy to solve it, like that's all I had to do. Like what the heck? But so it left. So anyways, so now for the next week, he's testing it, checking it's really gone. He's like, man, it's rejoicing. And then he's driving in his car and he goes, one night, he says, I'm worshiping, I'm praying. He goes, you know what? He says out loud, he goes, I'm going to expose you to the world. And then right then the demon came back and said, I'm going to kill you. And all of a sudden everything came back, all the fear. And he pulled over the side of the road and he's like shaking. He can't, he's like, it all comes back. So then, so in the book, he doesn't tell it in the YouTube, in the book, he gets to the last chapter and he says, he asked God for the legal right. So in my situation, he showed him God showed him the legal right. So for me, like this day, I'm taking my life. I can't handle it, bro. Like this is so bad. So I'm driving to work and I'm just like, God, like, where's the legal right? What, this isn't allowed to happen, right? So right when I said that, immediately I was taken back to the very moment that this first happened when I was 23. When I gave my life to Jesus, I was on fire for God and I was just evangelizing, got set free from drugs, was working at a retirement home, washing dishes. And there was this girl there. And this is after I was a believer, right? So when we judge other people, we open up legal rights for demons to attack. That's what I learned through this. There was a girl there when we cast judgment. So there's a scripture that says, by the measure that you judge, you too will be judged. But that's also a spiritual principle. Like,
Wow.
So immediately brought me back when I was working at this place, dishwashing. There was this girl that used to work there. Her name was Elsie, and she was a girl, but she looked like a boy. But when she started working there, she was a girl, but she had low self-esteem and she wanted to fit in. So she started turning into that lifestyle. So as a believer, when I went there, everybody would make fun of her. And then I condemned her in my heart. I judged her and I was like, man, like you're weak, bro. You know what I mean? Well, when I judged and I condemned her, I opened myself up. So I was in the dish room washing dishes and worshiping Jesus. And all of a sudden this spirit just went, boom, it hits me. And I remember I grabbed the sink and I went like that and I couldn't move. And I was working next to this lady, this attractive lady. And so I'd run the dishes through the machine and she would pull it out and dry it. When the spirit entered into me, when I looked at her, there was like this invisible wall. Like I can't explain, like it numbed the attraction. And I was like, what? It was so weird, dude. I was like, what the heck is going on? So again, I couldn't stop. I'm thinking, bro, the devil's so scared of me. I'm a threat to the kingdom. He's trying to intimidate because it was scary. It was like super, like really, really terrifying. So then we go on break in Texas, and I sit down, and the guy, we're in the break room. This guy comes to bring sodas to the soda machine to change the sodas out in the break room. And as he walks by, he looks at me, and his face melts into a woman's face. And I'm like, what the frick is happening? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what the heck? So he brought me back to that experience. That when that actually happened at that time, it actually scared me so bad. I distanced myself from God, because anytime I came close to him, the demon would start terrifying me in these crazy manifestations. So I learned to like worship him at a distance, because if I could be here and worship him, but if I fully surrendered, it just would go crazy.
Yeah.
So that sparked a 7-year backslide for me. I thought I was going crazy. I went on psych meds. I went on Klonopin, the benzos, all the stuff stopped, and I backslid into the world for 7 years. Then I got locked up in LA. And then he said, that's when he said, I'm gonna take this drug out of your life. You don't have a choice, but it had to be there, because I couldn't do it on the streets. People die on this stuff. They can't get off it. And then when he did that, he said, okay, anyways. So when I get in the book, he showed me where the attack first happened. Immediately I started repenting. God, I'm sorry, I repent, Lord. I repent for judging her. And I saw this vision of the cross enter into that dish room, and it was like sucking all the negative energy into the cross. And then immediately I felt the spirit come up through my head, through my neck, and it was out. And I felt this warm, like this warm liquid come over the top of my head and spill down. And he said, I sealed it. It's not allowed to get up. So now I'm like, oh, this is awesome, right? Going to work, man. I tell Erica, oh man, it's gone. Then I call my pastor. But I could feel a tinge of it on the outside. And I'm like, okay, wait. Why? So I call my pastor, like when you cast demons out, do they stay? Is there a syndrome? But anyway, so time goes on. I feel it from the outside. Then it started coming from the outside and pressing inwards. It couldn't manifest the way it was doing the hallucinations and access to my soul. It wasn't allowed to do that, but it was on the outside, like squeezing in. I guess it's hard to describe it. That's the best way to describe it. And God said, well, no, that went on for a while. I was like, dude, like, what is the deal? Like, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. We live in California. And anytime we go into LA downtown, the spirit would get so strong. I would almost start vomiting. I'm like, we gotta leave. You can't go to LA right now.
Yeah.
But so as time goes on, I'm like, what is going on? And God said, Isaiah, like, no. He goes, I'm going to heal you of why that spirit was allowed to do what it was doing. And I was like, okay, why was it able to do that? And he said, you don't know who you are. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Okay. So then he takes me through this long process of, I'm telling you, man, for the past couple of years, I haven't had a life. I've just been sitting. It's almost completed now, but I was sitting as he's doing this stuff in my head and healing my physical brain.
Wow.
There was like this vortex going in my eyes, going to my brain, pulsating back and forth, and it was hot, and the pain, like every second was painful. Like it was like he did surgery on me while I'm awake with no anesthesia. And so it was going through my brain, and it was just pulsating for months. And I could feel it moving up and up as he's gently healing the brain cells and everything.
Yeah.
So he does like this whole body healing. It goes down to my eyes, and then it comes to where it's like everything's sealed, is done, and then it's just a tinge in my eyes. But it would twist and pull and turn and go in and go to the front of my eyes. So I'm telling Eric, I'm like, yo, like, I think it's almost done.
Yeah.
Then he prompts us to move to Hawaii. And I'm like, okay, that story was crazy. We moved to Hawaii. I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Like, this is the promised land for me. I'm done. But it wasn't true. So we got here, and the suffering just kept going and going. He took me. So for me, I had a lot of judgment in my heart towards this type of lifestyle. I think it's just, I don't know, man. As a guy, especially in our area growing up, it was just something that's like, So, man, like the process he's taking me in to remove that judgment. So he left the thing in my eye, and whenever I couldn't talk to anybody because I couldn't say God left this thing in my eye.
Mm.
And when he increases, I start having these experiences as if I'm somebody walking in their shoes. Because
Wow.
at the beginning of this, he goes, well, when it started happening, like, what's going on? He goes, because you never experienced that aspect, you need to understand the pain that they go through.
Wow.
So I'm at work and this thing would increase and I have no control of it.
Mhm.
And the pain, bro, is so bad. And then like the experiences I'm having with like somebody who was struggling with this stuff,
Mhm.
that too, anytime I got in the spirit, oh, like the hell is like unreal.
Mm.
So this goes on, and then like even it, there's no breaks, man. Like when I go into my house, I'm just sitting there, things going through my head, fire. Like he used the pain, and it was like he made me feel hopelessness. He made me feel anguish, sorrow, depression, darkness. And so I'm in my room. I have no life. Not only am I going through this, but he added life circumstances on top of it. So now I have, he took all relationships out of my life. I can't just call, hey, what's up, bro? What are you doing? Like, I'm stuck in this pain. So he took relationships out. I have nobody to run to. He removed my family. All I had was Erica. And it's hard because what I'm explaining to her, nobody can understand. And she's trying to understand, but the loneliness of nobody understanding adds to another level of suffering to it.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, he left this thing in my eye where it'll go through my head, and the way that I could feel what they're feeling, and my reaction to it is like, oh God, I hate this. And he goes, that's because that's how you feel towards it. So he would run that feeling, and until that feeling of I hate this is over.
Wow.
And then he'll like run it through my head. I'm like, oh, this is gross. And he goes, you think this about these people? Then he'll run. So for weeks, like this is all I've been living like until he's burning it out of my heart. So it's got to a point where like that's what it is. Like he taught me to endure through impossible circumstances, through impossible pain, unlike, I mean, and it's constant. And there's like, and he matured me in it. So we were talking about the beginning of our meetings was how do you get to a place of this to transformation? And for me, it's suffering.
Wow.
The suffering completely refined me.
Wow.
All the things that were in my heart. Because when I first started this after Erica, I was a bad person, man. Like my heart was dark. I was very like volatile. I could cut you at my words, my anger, everything. And through the nonstop having to press through this fire, he's refined, reshaped, moved, and you know, it's like the silver, what they say when it goes into the dross. How do you know when it's done? When he pulls it out and you can see the reflection of the maker in the silver, but it's the refining.
Yeah.
So this is, for me, it's been a period of 4 years and 7 months of okay, so I gotta tell you guys this too. When I was in Texas 2023 or whatever, when I surrendered, I was still on probation, and I just got out of my class, and I was waiting for my ride to pick me up. But I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but I started to go into this trance, and the tree started blowing slower, and I felt God's presence and everything. It was so intense. And I literally start raising up out of my body, and I left my body and I'm sober, like I'm not high. And I was wearing a gray Texas Tech hat, a white tee, and some jeans. And I was sitting on the stairs with my hands like this, and I'm looking down. I can't see my face because my bill, and I can see my hat, and I can see my shirt, and I can see my pants. And I told God, I was like, please stop. Because I started thinking about everybody that gets taken home. Like, this is too much. Don't do it. So I just rest there. And then he starts speaking to me. The first time I ever heard from beginning to end, audible, clear sentence, not audible, but it was clear. He knew it. He said, this, what you're looking at is my vessel for my glory.
Wow.
He said, then all of a sudden he impressed this lonely feeling on me. And it wasn't loneliness like this. It was just, it was like things I was going to go through that nobody was going to understand, that I can't. Hey, dude, like, you know how comforting it is to, like, call someone and say, I'm going through this. Like, I went through that too. Oh, okay, cool. That's comfort. When you have none of that, especially in the worst fire, that's like another level, dude. But so I felt that loneliness. He goes, this road I have for you is very specific. It's very unique. And then he goes, and then you're going to go through suffering. That's going to be so bad And the impression that he impressed on me was, you're not gonna make it, like, you're barely gonna get out of it.
Mm,
And he said, it's gonna be off in my glory.
mm,
And then I
Wow.
started going back into my body, and then so then when I got locked up in jail, it started,
Yeah.
that season started,
wow.
this whole thing.
Do you feel like, because of the nature of it, that there's like a certain calling that goes with it to minister to?
Yeah, and so for me, like, I went through a lot of wrestling with this. I'm like, God, like, I never struggled with this.
Yeah.
But what he told me is like, what he showed me is how the spiritual and the physical fuse together.
Yeah.
He's like, even though you didn't struggle with it, you didn't know who you were.
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
that don't know who they are,
Yeah.
this spirit goes to that, because the spirit will always go to a place of insecurity. There's no security.
Yeah.
And the spirit, they lie.
Yeah.
So if they can speak a lie and insecurity, think about how many people are
Yeah.
going through this, that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I'm like, why me? I don't want to do this. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was cool coming out of jail, coming off drugs, but now this, like,
Mm.
I don't want to, I wrestle with, I don't want to be the poster boy of this when I never struggled with it.
Yeah.
But that's why he's taken such a long, like,
Yeah.
duration to completely rid my heart, because I have to be able to speak to people.
Fully.
Because
Yeah.
this is a community that's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't
Dude.
flinch or have judgment. I have to,
Yeah. No.
they gotta feel love because they're
Yeah.
already judged.
Yep. You know what's crazy is it's on the rise, dude. Like people
Yeah.
who wrestle with gender dysphoria and like gender identity, the number, like amongst the young generations coming up, it's like multiplying.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it's, bro, this spirit is so
Question.
bad. It's such, so,
So that spirit, did you know that was a spirit at the time?
yeah,
Or
oh,
is it
yeah. No,
hindsight?
so when it first happened in Texas, I completely felt, I knew it wasn't flesh. I felt it. It was a spirit.
But can
I knew it was a demon, yeah.
You,
100%.
it specifically, it was the LBGTQ.
Oh, yeah,
spirit.
because it was like intuition. Once it
Mhm.
entered into my, not my spirit, but my body and my soul,
Mhm.
it was like intuition. At first I was confused when I was holding onto the sink, and when I looked at the girl, like there was an
Mm.
invisible spiritual shield.
It's like you couldn't be attracted to her if you wanted to.
Yeah, but it was weird because it wasn't physical, it was
Yeah.
spiritual. So when I was like this, I was putting everything together, like, this is weird. And then the way it was making me feel, the best way I can explain it is this is how the spirit itself feels. And when it imposes itself on to you, that's you're feeling what the spirit feels.
Mhm.
And it's so in the process of going through this, God showed me like this is an illusion that it casts on people. And this is the way it lies. It doesn't lie through thoughts, it lies through feelings, emotions, perception, sight.
Yep.
And then so for gender confusion, dude, I'm still living my life. So I was at the gym and this thing's
Recently?
manifesting, bro.
This is recently?
No,
Oh,
this was
okay.
all the way in California at the beginning before it left out of my body
Oh,
when it had legal right. Dude, like I'm looking at the bathroom sign, the male and the female sign.
Wow.
I literally watched it come off the wall, come in front of my face and blur. Like I couldn't
Wow.
decipher the two. And God said, this spirit confuses people's
Oh.
gender.
Wow.
It's a spirit.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
Oh man,
It's
dude, this is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly the message of like today.
Yeah.
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 Exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So for me, like I went through my wrestlings, you know, I still am going through my kind of just like, man, like God, like, why did you choose me to do all this? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, but I'm surrender, bro. It's Haneni.
Dude, because this is where the enemy is on the rise.
Who's that?
Issa Rae is a transgender person
Oh, yeah.
In the where?
in our church. She comes to, or he comes to a 5 o'clock service.
Yeah.
So he's a man.
Is that the girl that came?
I mean,
Last Sunday,
he's kind of hard for this. He's like
Yeah.
I thought it was,
very
Yeah, you would not,
provocative and
yeah.
yeah, dresses,
skimpy.
yeah, it's skimpy.
I seen somebody come in last Saturday, I thought was a man, but then when we saw the person in the eating, it looked like a chick, so I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
What's the name?
Isale?
Issa.
Issa Rae, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of looks like he has some like physical, like scoliosis or something, just kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Uh-huh.
dude, when this was all kind of like coming out, more into like mainstream and becoming acceptable, like, because we all grew up at a time where no one came out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Openly, like, And
No,
so
accepted.
now it's accepted. And when that transition was happening and like gay rights stuff was like on the rise, I was very much on the camp of like, people choose this for themselves. You know what I mean? Like they choose this and like they can choose otherwise and stuff. And I got together with this guy who was like, I think he had come out, but yeah, he totally come out and was like, Preston, but he still looked like a complete dude, just kind of affected kind of like an effeminate voice and stuff. I was just talking to him and like, honestly, my whole thought was like, I'm gonna pray for this dude. He's gonna get set free. He'll get married, you know, to a woman and stuff like that. But that conversations with people has totally opened my eyes and like changed my perspective. Like he broke down. He's like, dude, why would anybody choose this for themselves? He's like, why would I want this for myself? Where I have to like basically live ostracized. This was before it was like accepted and stuff and became more mainstream and stuff. But like that totally shifted my heart because I could see the like what you're talking about, the anguish and the struggle and the like, I want to choose otherwise, but I can't, like the helplessness, you know. And just to actually physically experience that firsthand and be able to like relate that to another person,
That's so like
it's powerful.
for me prior to this whole season, it was like, you know, I was in the same boat, like, you know, that's obviously wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like they were like, I have these feelings. Okay, well, we can't obey our feelings, but it's something different. Like now I understand. When I was at work, dude, like whenever he increased that thing in my head and I started having these horrible, just the feeling alone was so horrible. Like, dude, I just wanted to die. Like there was a guy at work who I didn't know struggled with his identity because you could tell he just wanted to be like one of the dudes. And he doesn't look like he'd ever do anything like that.
Right.
But when God would increase the thing in my head, anytime that dude got around this, it was like, we were like, oh, like what the, like anytime we got next to each other, the thing in my head and whatever he was going through, it just started like, and you could tell he was ashamed and he's like angry, like, oh, and he would just like go, and I'm like, oh, like I want to die. And then God would say, but Isaiah, you know, yours is temporary. He lives like that and he struggles with suicide daily. And I'm like, dude, like this is hopeless, man. Like for me, I knew there was an ending. I knew what God was doing. I knew that he was showing me. I knew he was letting me experience it, but to live like that every day and not want it. Yeah. Because then, you know, like there's guys and stuff that are like, oh, this is who I am, and they're happy with it. Yeah. But then there's a lot of people that don't want to have those things going on. But so what I think from this is like, I think we're going to see a deliverance from this community in ways we never had. Because the thing about it, like you always hear testimonies of people that were in the lifestyle that repented, came out, and then, you know, God gave them new desires, or some people stayed celibate, some people got married. Yeah. But for me, it was like, this is the demonic side. Like I get to expose. Okay, the reason why like he allowed that demon to painfully manifest the way it was doing was because I'll never forget that. Like it was so there, even as this process went on, I even had thoughts like, well, maybe they're born like, and then God was like, bro, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, there's a demon. This is a demon, and that all it is not knowing who you are. It's that can happen from whatever, or you know what I mean, like so.
And something's happening in our culture and society that is it magnifying the confusion of identity, you know.
Attacking the kids too.
And for the kids. Dude, I'm telling you, man, you got, I don't know if this is the Lord or just me, but you got a youth calling, dude. The youth are the ones who are rising up and battling this, man. But it's not just them. You're gonna be, or you're kind of like gonna be like a Paul to go to like this. But
well, so God, he told me, he said, write a book about it in detail. Because I think if people read it, I think people who struggle with it, if they've never heard that there's a spirit and they think this is me, this is what I struggle with. Well, if you realize there's a spirit, then it's like, oh wait, this is a spirit, and then you know what I'm saying?
I will say that if you come at this topic from a spiritual standpoint, you are going to get crucified.
Like, of course. Oh no. And I think that's why God spent so much time of like learning to endure through fire and pain.
Yes. Because you kind of have to die to that, like that
definitely,
They're gonna be,
oh, dude, they're gonna, if you in any way sort of
this is a
imply,
demon. This is a demon. What do you
that
mean?
what they're going through
Yeah.
is spiritual or demonic in any way,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to stand around you. Be your armor bearers, dude, because they
Already
are
dead, man.
exactly,
Yeah.
it's gonna help a lot of people, you know,
Yeah.
but a lot of other people, it's gonna stir up a lot of,
Oh, yeah, huge,
a lot of opposition, so.
really controversial.
Yeah, but dude, I feel like God has been like birthing he's been refining a story in you, man, that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
reach a lot of people.
Oh,
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm still going through, like, I can feel he's, you know, like, what's crazy is towards the end of this season, he started speaking to me through numbers, prophetic numbers, and I started seeing 333 a lot
Mm.
everywhere, and I'm like, why do I keep seeing 333? License plates would pull up in front of me, 333. I look at the construction site, 333.
Hmm.
Look at my phone, it's 333. And so this kept happening over and over. I'm like, okay, like, what is this? So I Googled it, and people that like deal with prophetic numbers, they say like, this is how God speaks to you sometimes. Sean Bowles, that
Mhm.
really, he's like, did you, right when I was seeing all that, he posted this thing that said 3-3. He's like, do you guys ever see
What?
prophetic numbers? In my season, I saw 3, I filmed it, I screenshot it. And he's like, I see 3-3. I'm telling Erica, she's like, bro, you're crazy. I'm like, dude, like, I'm serious. Like, I'm really serious. She's like, oh my gosh, she goes the numbers. But then like, and so when I look at 3 is a number of completion, and the number of 3, she's saying this is completion. So that went on for a while, and then it would cycle to 444. 4 is like the number of creation, and God started speaking to me through numbers like, this is a creation I've done that's coming to a completion. And I started seeing 11 everywhere, like 11 miles to this destination, 11 minutes is 11:11. It's the 11th on the 11th, and I'm like, okay, what does 11 mean? So then I saw this pastor on YouTube. He's like, the same thing happened on his clock. He'd throw the shoe at it. I always see 11:11, but then he looked in the Bible and he saw that the number of 11 was the number of transition from, it took 11 days from, I think, the Mount of God or whatever to the promised land or something like that.
That's how long the journey would take.
Yeah, so that's the number of transition.
Wow.
Just,
The promised land,
Yeah.
days, but it took them 4 weeks.
Yeah, are you journaling all this?
I've got it, bro. I wrote it.
Yeah, yeah.
I wrote in my book to the point where I have to just wait for this to finish all of it.
Yeah,
It's all right here, bro.
yeah.
That's the number
Yeah.
that I saw a lot.
Yeah.
So 444 was 2 years ago when I started diving in, and then.
Did you look it up?
I didn't, because I was just wondering, I didn't know what to do.
What's this?
So 444, from my understanding, is God's creation. It's all biblical, but
That's in the 4 corners of the earth.
4 corners of the earth.
Or,
Yeah,
North, south, east, west.
yeah. God is creation, and then it's like a completion. It's also a completion.
Yeah.
Look it up, because I'm not really good with the 444
No,
one.
4 also means door.
Open the
So,
door.
yeah, so in Hebrew, but it's not numerology, it's called gematria.
Yeah.
Yeah, where letters are numbers. And that's actually purposeful, so the way that like for example,
What's 3 or what was 4?
4
Yeah, what is 4?
means the door,
But what is it Hebrew? What's the Hebrew word?
Dalet.
Yeah.
Dalet, yeah.
Um,
Or like the 4 seasons or 4 corners of the earth, the creation, yeah. And that's actually meaning, as in words have meaning, numbers have meaning
Mhm.
in the Hebrew. So it's not numerology or horoscope, something like that. That's an actual thing.
I started.
7 is the actual number for completion, and 7 days. Creation is created, and it's done. So 7 means complete. 3 typically means God or Trinity,
Mhm.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and 3 in 1, Echad, which is unity, right? And
What's 2?
2 is bet. It's so bet means house.
Mhm.
So 2, I'm not sure what 2 means.
For a while, I would wake up at 4:44
Yeah,
all the
4.
time, and I'd see 4s all the time.
Yeah.
And then that was like during COVID, when Joey and I were really on fire
Yeah,
time. And then
Oh, amazing.
kind of learning about, like I was telling you about diving, like felt like God called me to go on this journey and learning more about healing. That's kind of about the time.
Mhm.
And then that 11/11 last year,
that, I mean, just all the time, it's on my phone, it's this, whatever stopwatch, it's.
Yeah.
Numbers. Street sign,
Yeah.
house
So,
address,
yeah, that's why I was like,
whatever.
I started seeing it everywhere. I was like, am I supposed to, when I was looking it up, so people that are explaining when God speaks to us through numbers, it's not like you say, not numerology, not that.
But you're good.
When he gives us something like that, it's for us to look into. When we seek, we'll find. You seek, you'll look. So I started seeing 222 everywhere as well. And I was watching all these YouTube videos. I'm trying to figure out which one is the right one, but this one person was saying 22, the way that he described it, where he's saying that number is the number of intimacy. He's saying, I'm calling you back into intimacy. Breakthrough comes in intimacy in my presence. I started going into his presence whenever I started seeing that everywhere. And I would start having these breakthroughs of like, it's crazy, man. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah, and Adam and Eve too. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you look up Romans 11:11. It's about Israel. I say then, they did not stumble so as to fall, that they may never be acquired their transgression. Salvation has come to the Gentiles to make them jealous. So it's about how the gospel has gone to the Gentiles for the sake of the Jews. So the Jews were like, what? You're not even the people of God. Why do you get to be like that, right?
Yeah.
And so Yamit would say, whenever you see 11:11 on the clock, pray for Israel. Yeah, yeah, 11:11, Romans 11:11. Yeah.
Wow.
So you see that on the clock or something like, oh, trying to pray for Israel, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You know?
Yeah.
That they would come to Christ. That's actually very significant because I think that if you look at Revelations, there is going to be like a kind of revival in Israel where they will come to Christ. That's already happening like right now. That's like the last thing that you're going to see before Jesus returns. Is Israel comes back to Christ. And the Messianic movement is growing there. The 12 tribes are returning. Crazy. They might be building a temple again. So
They have like all the material.
yeah.
They
And
fought the priestly garments.
they got
I think they know where the ark is and stuff.
Yeah, they say they know where the ark
Yeah.
is. They're just keeping it secret.
You
And
think they're being serious?
I think they do,
I
but
think they
I don't
believe it, yeah.
know if they do.
Yeah.
I think they're serious, but I don't know. if they
Well,
really do.
I saw some artifacts. I never know if anything will do.
Yeah.
But they say that, there's big huge stones underneath where the temple was built, right? So they're hollow. So could it be that when someone built this temple, he built an escape hatch for the ark, just in case like doesn't happen again. Ark will, jettison down this like push a button and it's down.
Well, wasn't the like abomination of desolation that the Romans sacrificed stuff on the ark?
Yeah,
So it kind of makes
Yeah.
it sound like they got it.
yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
They took it.
With the Romans sacrificed on the ark?
So this is what like really dealt like a massive blow to the Jews, was that the Greeks went into the Holy of Holies where you're not supposed to be able to go. Nothing happened, and then they sacrificed like pigs and stuff to their Greek gods,
To do so.
and like nothing happened. So the Jews were just like, oh, I guess that's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the abomination of
Yeah.
desolation that Daniel talks about.
Yeah.
You will see this abomination occur in the temple, and it's the Antiochus Epiphanes, I think, the Greek general. That went in there. This is during the time of the Hanukkah period. The Maccabees, the Maccabean period. He goes in there and he desecrates the temple, basically.
So in the time of Jesus, was the ark not in the Holy of Holies, or it was still there?
Oh, Christ
Yeah,
in the temple there.
then the ark and everything was in there. It was operating.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But then the temple fell.
Yeah, you're talking about 70 AD when the
Yeah,
temple
yeah, when the temple fell.
And there's actually like this famous arch, I think it's in
Right.
Rome.
Yeah.
where they carved
They
the stone,
depicted, yeah,
the temple being destroyed
and looted,
and looted, and they're like carrying the menorah.
Yeah.
You know, like Roman soldiers carrying the menorah, right?
Yeah.
But the ark's not there.
Hmm.
It's not depicted on the ark, so that's why there's that Egyptian button. You know, the ark saves them.
after the abomination of desolation, they
Yeah.
built
That's not. We're not like
a
that.
false, wall.
Now we're like building a trapdoor.
Yeah.
And the rest of them is safe haven.
Yeah,
But maybe it's been there all the time, you know. What's crazy is. The Tigris River is dried up.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah.
so you see that on YouTube?
Mm.
Just like it says in Revelation 16. You see that?
No.
The Tigris River in Iraq. Revelation 16, it says, I can't read it. It's.
Sorry, guys, I gotta head out.
Right.
great.
That's
Right, see it tonight.
some of yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably have to
I'm
hold
just wondering, so I'm gonna share that tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it says that there's no. And that there's like these angels that are locked up underneath that. river.
How are you?
I was thinking of the video series.
That's gnarly.
Brennan, I probably have to leave.
Dude, whatever you guys.
Yeah, I threw those boxes in the back.
Dude, that's enough.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it.
Okay.
Jaylee put it together. Little care package for you guys.
Oh, care package?
Right? Sorry, yeah.
You say care package?
Gonna head out too.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Oh, nice, cool. Who's playing?
My young kid's like toddler, is that right?
Yeah. AYS stuff.
There's six to
Give it
angel
to-
poured out of the bowl.
Just kidding.
No, excited,
And
This week.
water.
AYS stuff?
yeah,
How old is he?
no, he's good, so he
Oh,
does
okay,
soccer
okay.
games. They're trying to integrate them.
Yeah.
Something like
Just get him
that.
kicking the ball around.
Mhm.
Revelation 16:12.
16, 12.
Yeah, it says that when, this is really crazy time. So when the Euphrates River dries up, China can come across. The armies can now make it across, nothing can stop it. And the river, you know. So, and if you look on, this is like all over YouTube right now. It
Oh,
is-
really? Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta share these archaeology things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
terrible right now.
Yeah, I saw a video.
But isn't that one of the seals that's broken or a trumpet?
Sixth angel.
So is that saying we're already,
For the both sectors.
is that saying that we're already getting to the?
Mid-trip.
Yeah, that's pretty easy, bro.
Yeah, no, it's. You see the Euphrates River dry up. And, this.
I don't know about tomorrow. I gotta.
In the year
It's fingerprint that I gotta take. Tokyo to school, but man, you can just learn that.
I'm gonna try.
It's not gonna be less fun.
Guys, did you see that, the guy, video? Rob showed him that, the vision? Is that where you saw that
I
from?
have a bunch of
No.
stuff.
Oh, dude, there's a guy who used to work for NASA, and he was a believer, but he had a dream, he woke up and he saw this asteroid hitting the earth. And he woke up and he kept hearing wormwood, dude, I gotta send it to you, but then. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
It's real on
He talks about.
Like the northwest coming in, it'll blow past. Like,
It's something wiped out like a great portion. But there's a possibility where it can miss it and move back around and come back.
Yeah.
Don't look at it.
It's
Did you watch it?
Oh my God.
It's supposed to be this week, like the storm.
Okay, dude, it's alright, man. Like after a while.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think-
like I'm literally listening to you out.
Dude, when I was taking the oxygen, my first concern was to take, like, watch me,
That's actually.
take it back to work, put it in that box, so that.
Yeah, secondary north.
I,
Yeah.
dude, I don't like too much. Would damage my
It's just there.
liver and stuff, just sort of.
Really let it know there's a point all. It's fun, but it's like, sometimes there's like delays between sets. If you can bump up the fair to do
Small
it.
right now, but it says,
Yeah.
so later this week.
So, yeah,
That's
and the person is just about,
swear.
I'm broken, but I just felt it. So that's good.
Is that West Side?
This is for.
Oh, that's one. Okay.
Part of it, so I'll, I mean, I know like
Next
we,
the week after that.
from a doctor standpoint, like.
Today's
Brown,
actually
but I'd
today's
much rather
Thursday.
like have like.
Today's
Marijuana type stuff,
26th.
you know what I mean? For, like,
Would you smoke, would you? smoke
But
weed?
yeah, yeah.
Or
I mean,
you're-
the weird thing,
I would rather
guys
do that.
oh wow, it really does.
I think I don't
Yeah,
like
guys
it.
now are dead.
So now's the time.
I can get like drops, just like it would really, CBD or something, that would be like ideal, but I don't actually getting that.
Hey, let me close the prayer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heavenly Father, we just want to say thank you for this great conversation this morning. Wow, that was so powerful, Lord. We are so deeply moved by your sacrifice for us this Christmas. Thank you for this meditation. Thank you for what Jesus came to do. And Lord, we are just, I mean, in tears, so grateful. And we just continue to bless Brandon here for 100% full healing. The healing he's already received because of what you did. Let it be manifest, we draw it out, and loose it in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for that. Wow.
Yeah,
Bro, amazing.
By the way, this testimony is on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
What it is? Yeah.
Yeah, well, part, the dental part, yeah.
We need to, you gotta text me, I think I saved your number, but.
Yeah.
You got August with the light thing, and they're good at talking to us, I gotta send you the one. But, yeah, because I want to talk to you about that whole thing that you're bringing up too, because I'm actually working with that.
I was thinking that.
I have a couple clients that sort of, again, I've been like having a real. And steer in the right direction, dude, but it's just, it's something that I've been thinking about, like, well, the spirit of that, and the knowledge that you have of it, like. super
Yeah,
powerful.
absolutely, man. That's your number, that's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saved it, I can't remember this.
Just something.
Bro.
That was the first time, yeah.
So Katie's can't tell you that they're on stage. They just like,
Marketing,
and.
dude, these are the boxes, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Prayer too.
I'm not within it, wait. Mystery box.
Yeah, bro, you guys all good? You guys been good?
Things be good, just, man, it's been an uptick in
Yeah.
activity.
Honestly, I feel it.
I feel like things are blurring.
Are the kids good?
Kids are good.
Yeah.
Just, trying to navigate this transition.
Yeah.
Having to like sit there and chat.
Dude, It's just too
I bring my
like
study guide. I bring my.
intentional, you know, the
Yeah.
details, like our talk that day, just stuff like that all along the way.
Yeah.
Too like clear that God is in the midst of it to be like.
Right. It's crazy, it's like one thing when you can like look back on when he had you going on a path,
Yeah.
but then it's a totally another
Yeah.
like just bizarre experience to be in it and know that you're on
In
that.
real time.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like a Loki or something. You know? Have you watched that? The Loki
Yeah,
show on
yeah,
Marvel?
I did.
Like when he's like outside of time. and-
Yeah. I like that. I like Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Some of them are just like way too cheesy. Like Loki, I think it was like, well,
You're into like that comic in like pop culture.
watch it, just like I sit there, keep up. But like I said, most of the time I think it's cheesy, but Loki I feel like was really well done. I thought like WandaVision, I was like mourning. I thought that's crazy. So some of that's like crazy.
Yes, it's dark. Man.
Yeah, dude, they're taking like
It's a
Disney and stuff, they're taking something in such a weird direction. Like, people have been saying that for a long time, and I was always like, whatever. But now it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Cause I almost was gonna take the girls to see that new one in theater, but I guess the main character is like binary.
Okay.
It's like an adventure one. It just came out last week.
I'm telling you, man, almost everything that's coming out with these days.
We had a, I just want to be able to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I'm not against like exposing them. It's gonna be so prominent.
Right.
I just haven't had the conversation yet. Like they'll ask little things.
It's, I don't wanna support it.
Oh, yeah, I
I
know.
don't wanna send them back there like, you know, this being kid stuff and keep
Yeah.
making this stuff, like,
Yeah.
I want them to.
Yeah, we had a guy, I'm in this documentary making class at,
Yeah.
Pac Rim, and we had a guy from Hollywood that made a couple big movies come and talk, and he was just talking about the spirit there. And how great, it's crazy, bro.
you guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I guess. Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
But bro, let's get,
Yeah, let's do it.
for real.
What's the timeline for, I mean,
Let's stay on for, like 3 to 4 weeks, and then I guess like this recovery can be like 4 to 8 months. Something goes fast.
Oh,
Dude. You're bomb, dude. Friggin' syrup.
Yeah.
We got it. Okay, thanks.
Brutal.
How long are you gonna, how long do they say it's gonna take to do it? You think they're completely staying up there for about 4 weeks? Could be anywhere from like 4 days or more. So like a 4 day much pretty just actually.
Dude, I'm gonna do everything I can to do it fast.
Yeah.
I'm already. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk into the back.
Yeah, they were good. We don't send them to the one, wait, they put you on one store, I'll, like on-time place, or. Hey.
I never scored for it. So I don't go to 24 to 5.
Yeah, I don't know, I probably won't be, yeah, but it's like, yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, right, man. Yeah, I spoke about that. Yeah. I think it's, yeah, I think we're all not gonna do it. It was great. Like, we're all done. Let's do it. Yeah, yeah, so. You got it. It's good night. Exactly. Yeah, certainly. So I'm pretty sure all about that. So let's see what he does with it. I don't know how to say anything. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do in my life, and then. So, we need to check those. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah. Well, I walked up, finally got up today, see the guy landed on it. I was walking under, my bro, like, see the river. And like, this is the word was connected to both. Yeah. And so like, everything about it, about it, all around it. That part actually is just much. But I also think it's like that. I think if you look at it right now, before, okay, before, people are. Yeah. It's gonna be a,
So I think that's good.
Waiting for the book, man.